I almost forgot what show we were doing for a second.
Yeah, that's not good.
And action.
Awesome.
Actually, you here.
You know, I think that's the first time I ever saw that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That technically is behind the scenes footage, not by the movie cameras themselves, of a little unfinished film called They Rise, written by this guy.
And directed by that guy.
That guy out there
That
in
guy.
YouTube land.
That guy. The guy in the glasses.
So yeah, that's again just somebody else had a camera during that scene. And go ahead and tell them that we do have some more clips, actual footage from that movie. Now it's raw footage for one, and it hasn't been color corrected, whatever. And we might add some more commentary to it. But two, it was actually, I filmed it off a computer screen with my phone. This is 13 years ago too, for references. Going back through footage in the script, it wasn't to be shown or shared, but since that's all I've got in my hands at the moment, that's all I can share with you, and it just fits in with the theme tonight.
We could have access to actual footage at some point, though, right?
Well, there's hope if the rest of it wasn't and deleted. I mean, we're talking 12, 13 years ago was the last. So there's still a chance it's on a drive somewhere, a good chunk of
there's still hope. One of the producer's wife and one of the actors were on a podcast that you shared with me, and she had just sent him a clip from the movie. So
then
there is hope that it's still out there somewhere.
Well, she is married to the producer. Lindsay.
Yes.
So anyway,
Lindsay was the producer. Anyway,
you want to know what we're talking about? Later. You can check out Kory's interview on Jess Graham Live on this channel, or even on Slaughterport. Possibly we brought it up again during the Cable Channel 11 interview. But for now, let's start bringing on our fabulous entrants. We're doing the Romero Dead films. Well. Of course. Orc, hello.
What's up, Orc?
Daily Ghost.
Mr. Ghost.
And yeah.
All right. Start bringing these guys on.
We'll get to it.
We'll go in the order they showed up. Starting off with Kory from Smores Indoors, maybe?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
That's weird.
That is weird. I don't know. Hold on.
Huh. Let me leave and I'll come back and see if that helps.
Okay.
All
right.
Moving on.
Give him a second. Yeah, we have Kory from Smores Indoors.
Yes. And we'll go ahead and move on. There's good old Jake. It's been a while.
It has.
Love the shirt.
Swaggy.
What's up, Swaggy?
And JG Michael, hello.
We got.
There we go.
Hey,
There we are. What's up, Kory?
hey, it's good to be here, guys.
I'm glad to have you on.
And glad to have you guys. Did we say that?
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Let's go ahead and bring on good old Dan Shine.
Oh, you messed me up. I thought you were bringing on the other guy.
Well, fuck you, Jess.
Well, I was saving it was
There we go.
trivia champion, Horror Rumble trivia champion,
Hell yeah.
the Hat Man, Dan Shine. Come on, that's why I wasn't prepared.
When there's no more hostess in hell, Jess Graham will walk the earth.
It's true. True.
All right. And saving the best for last.
Oh,
That's why I did that, Jess.
now you just insulted everybody else on this panel.
Oh, fuck, we're leaving.
Yeah,
I'm the
Mr.
best.
J, the Stingray.
I'm the best. What's up,
Yes,
fellas?
diminish. Hey, buddy.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh,
Dude,
No,
it's
actually,
always kill
what's
as fuck,
kind
right?
of sad is we all agree with you. You did save the best for last.
Jake's got his twisted tea.
God.
This is going to be a fun night.
See, here's the thing, though. I don't think, unfortunately for you two, I really don't think this is going to be much of a rumble.
You
Could
you
be a
might be
rumble.
surprised.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
think you're right there.
I think
All
there'll
right.
be some rumbling going on, I suspect.
I don't think so.
You think we're all going to agree on most of this pretty equally?
Yeah, because it starts, and then we get to the middle, and it's just
Bam!
right in the fucking ground.
Right fucking down, dude.
Well, there could be some
Unfortunately.
arguments of the first, the beginning of which of those is the best, the original trilogy, if
I
that's
won't-
what you're getting at. We'll
I
see.
won't get ahead of myself, but there are some haters for some of these movies.
I do
And
have
not
some
just the
interesting
opposite.
takes on those original movies. So
Okay.
I guess I'll be different because I don't know. I think we'll talk about it when we get there.
Let's dive into it then. We'll move right along. First, we have
Zombies, last time, let's have some fun. Action!
remind you that is raw, not color corrected.
I've got to see this, man. I have to.
Yes.
And most of our other clips aren't that long, but yeah, and that's just like a take, so it's not any assembled. Anyway,
So
Blu-rays,
what year was that?
20.
2012, I would say, is probably the average.
Yeah.
The 2011, 2012 were the main in production filming times because it was shot on a very low budget over the course of weekends, and
As we got money.
yeah, and as we got money, we raised more money as we're in the started with a small amount that burned up fast, and we had to raise more money.
Hey,
That's where Jess got his addiction to Little Debbie's and Hostess.
Spent all the money on it.
I've got the receipts. But anyway, our first movie, we're doing got into a whole different subject. But the original Night of the Living Dead, and I'm not going to say George A. Romero's at the beginning of each one of these.
I've heard of this one.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. So I listened to this today, and it hit me that the other poster, the one with the person with the long hair, it hit me that was the little girl in the basement. For years I'm sitting there going, I don't remember there being a guy with long hair in this movie. So
Oh, I would have thought, if it was anybody but the girl, it was the tree zombie. the outside, the lady kind of by the tree eating the...
Have any of you guys actually been to the locations from this? Because it's a lot of fun.
the furthest east I've ever been is Ohio. So
I've been to Pittsburgh, but definitely did not appreciate this at the time to encourage my folks to do that. I was like 8 years old.
Well, you won't be able to go to the Dawn Mall anymore soon, but Evans City Cemetery, I do highly recommend walking around there. It's fun.
Cool. Yeah, I would like to.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna have to go camera off. I don't know what's going on, so as long as you can hear me.
Yeah.
You sound good.
All right.
You looked good before the camera problems too.
Yeah, it kept freezing up. I don't know, but anyway,
He just really needs to masturbate tonight, guys. Camera malfunction.
well, speaking of which, Dan, are there any porn parodies to these?
Night of the Giving Head is a good one. There's quite a few. Quite a few of this. Just Porn of the Dead is a good one too. Yeah, there's several for Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, zombies aren't exactly like horny to me for some reason. I don't know.
They
Am I
should
weird?
be. Rigor mortis is set in. All they
Well,
are is hard.
Yeah,
I mean, Return of the Living Dead. Linnea. You gotta love that. But
Now that's yes, 100%.
can
And
you
Orc brings up a good
bareback
point.
a zombie?
It fell into public domain by accident. This movie.
yeah, why was that? By the way, it just lapsed on the timeline.
We'll see.
No, a little bit more to it than that. But what kind of happened in a nutshell, without running down like all of the history, but it was because they left the copyright notice off because this had different titles. The working title was just Monster Flick. Then it became Night of Anubis, which they changed because they didn't think anybody would really understand that, to Night of the Flesh Eaters, which was changed due to the similarities of a similar title in 1964 by Jack Curtis called Flesh Eaters. And in the midst of all this, they just didn't have that notice. And
Yeah, because back it was right before they changed that you had to have it on the screen. The
Yes.
copyright notice.
yes,
To where
Dan,
now
listen.
you create works, it's almost automatically copyrighted
It is.
without
It
having
is.
it on print. So
Yeah.
Dan, I got a question, or if anybody knows, wasn't that partially a John Russo fuck up? I thought I heard that before.
yeah,
Let's blame it on him regardless.
He's an all-around
I
fucking
mean-
nerd. So.
it was a multi-million. I mean, many millions of dollars was lost just by that mistake. I mean, countless millions of dollars for Night of the Living Dead, and they just didn't put it. It was because it was the change of the titles from Night of the Flesh Eaters to Night of the Living Dead, and they didn't put the copyright on the Night of the Living Dead print, so it was lost to public domain.
That's.
Yeah.
I think I read pretty much what you're saying. Those when they sold it to the production company that distributed it, they changed the name to
Night of the Living Dead.
and then they didn't turn in the copyright notices.
Yeah, they needed to put it again. Night of the Living Dead to this day. Like, we could all remake this movie right now if we wanted to. So, unfortunately, there are remakes, but there's not as many as you would think, being that it's fair game. You know?
Yeah, and they're other than the official remake, the others are kind of
They're
even
pretty-
though they're awful. Night
What's
of
the
the Living Dead
one?
3D.
That's the one that's got Sid Haig in it, don't
It does.
Yeah.
The sequel to that, though, with Jeffrey Combs and Andrew Deboff, is watchable. It's actually entertaining. It's, nothing to write home about, but a lot better than the first one.
I heard that Kory Ross does like the chick in Night of the Living Dead 3D, the blonde with the big tits, right?
To be honest with you, I don't know because I've never seen it.
Well, you might want to see that part.
I might want to. I've got a thing for blondes with big boobs, so
Well, there's one in there.
Am I the only one? I mean, it's hard. Very few movies are truly perfect. For me, I think this one is perfect. I think it's timeless. And
It's definitely timeless.
Oh yeah, I think so too. This is a black and white movie that I can show to my nieces or nephew, and their attention will be captured by it. And it's funny because this was such meager beginnings. I mean, George Romero and Russ Striner started the Latent Image, and they produced like these ads and industrial films in the Pittsburgh area, and just for companies. I mean, they started out, these were truly indie people, not Hollywood at all. And it was actually, I think the brand was a water softener brand called Calgon, and they did a spoof of Fantastic Voyage, and that kind of got a lot of eyes on them, and they decided it was time to make an actual movie. So they start up the Image 10 with with Carl Hardman and Marilyn Eastman, and they raise enough money to get this movie made. And it's wild because originally they set out to make a sci-fi like horror comedy about teenage aliens that just kind of followed this teenager that runs away from home after discovering aliens farming human bodies for food. And that script still has some roots in the movie, because I think up until the Coopers kind of come into it, some of that is still a holdover from this sci-fi comedy that they were going to make. But thank God it went a different direction. You can see the influence from Richard Matheson's I Am Legend. And but a lot of this was a happy accident. Much of the dialogue was improv. It didn't have a full script. I know Dwayne Jones in particular rewrote a lot of his Ben character, because originally that was going to be he was written as like a sort of redneck truck driver sort of thing, and there was no, contrary to popular belief, there was no race given. So Dwayne Jones just got it because he was the better actor. It wasn't like a decision on Romero's part to make a black guy the lead. And not to take anything away from how amazing that performance was and how edgy it was. I mean, slapping the shit out of Barbara was a move in a 1968 movie. But yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
sometimes you got to do it, They get out of hand. You get lippy, bro. You got.
he had to go full Sean Connery on her ass. Yes.
the only thing I
Get a
can
little mouthy.
say in response to that, Dan, is that getting slapped the shit out of in this movie is nothing compared to what happens to the Barbara in May Rise. So,
Okay.
Oh, got a little teaser there for us.
Well, he got you overexcited. I don't think we have a clip of that.
no, we don't.
God damn it, you bastards! I want to see this movie.
It was filmed.
You got to finish it. We got to finish this. We can make that happen.
Oh, it would be like one of those. Our lead actor's bald now, like he can't grow hair.
Well, you have him like
A child actor who was 4 at the time has graduated high school.
He goes into a coma. The other kid grows up. You can make
We don't
this
need to-
work.
Sad part is it was like 90% filmed and then 25% footage lost. And
Well, then we'll remake it then.
Chemo.
It'll be done.
He's
It'd
going
be
to
just
I'm
more-
okay. I'm
so
okay with
jagged
remaking it.
inserts, or you have just title cards moving the transitions into the other scenes.
It's half silent movie, half.
Yeah. And they traveled for hours.
There was a drunk actor that was like a hardcore drunk, and we were like, shit, we filmed too much. And I was like, let's just replace him and have a title card. It's like the bastard drank too much, and all of a sudden it was just somebody totally different. Like, we were ready to just do that. It was a goofy movie anyways. I was like, it'll be funny. We didn't have to, luckily. We were able to talk to him, but you can make it work.
I had some actors who I love dearly that were drunk, emotional, different ones.
Mhm.
It was quite some scenes. But anyway, Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, it was. Who else wants to talk about it? Or do you have more, Dan? What are your? Did you even say like this ranks yet? Are you saving that?
Oh, I guess we can save the ranks for the end. It might be obvious for some of us, but I have a little bit of trivia that I always thought was funny. Do you know who was originally going to be in this movie as Barbara?
No.
Or was at least approached, but Mr. Rogers, Betty Aberlin of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but Mr. Rogers refused to let her do the part. Like, he was very much against it, but that was apparently a thing at one point.
Well, yeah, because their production was all right there too, wasn't it, in the area?
I'm not a big expert on Mr. Rogers, but yeah,
that was all Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Betty Aberlin could have had that role.
Interesting. Is this? I mean, ranks are going to pop out. At least what I know through mine. But is there anybody here that this is their favorite of the entire franchise?
Yeah.
For
You
sure.
and Dan, Jay and Dan. Well, go ahead, Jay. I guess.
Or-
Why don't you? What are your thoughts on that?
And
Why?
I don't know what to say. I mean, what hasn't been said about it? It's a fucking amazing movie. I love the ambiguity at the end, you know, where you don't know, was he killed because they think he's a zombie or because he's a black guy, you know? That's
I think it was really just supposed to be ironic, but if you wanted to take it that way, I mean, that's kind of the power of this movie.
yeah, but I mean,
Happy
you see it that way, right? I mean, I'm not alone in that.
Oh yeah, growing up, I always took it as, oh, they got scared because he was black.
Racist.
And
Yeah.
shot him.
Yeah.
And see, I did not, and I honestly didn't even really take that until you guys mentioned something right now. Is that maybe ignorance? I just saw it as a complete circumstance. That's just a shitty ending, no matter who it would have been. It's like this guy just went through all this. Everybody else is around him is dead. He's the only survivor. He peeks out a window and gets mistaken for a zombie.
He wasn't a zombie, though. You know.
Yeah.
He wasn't, but like, you know, I thought because they shot him from the outside that they saw something moving around in there, and it was like zombie.
That had to be intentional, man. It's too on the nose. I mean, it's so great. It's so perfectly done that
I think it's yeah. I mean, like if you take it that way, I think it works. It would make sense. I mean, you know, 1968, small community like that. They just, you know.
Not only that, like as we get on, there's more racial stuff in his movies. If you notice,
Yeah.
So
I think it
Even
becomes intentional after a point. I don't think that was necessarily intentional.
I think he swore up and down that it wasn't that. Like Dwayne was their friend, and he was the best one for the job of their friend.
The role,
Fill the
right?
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it actually probably would have helped him to say that it was the plan all along. Like that was my
You would, yeah, I think it
social
would have helped him
commentary.
more.
I kinda
to- and
respect
sound
that,
cle-
though.
Yeah, so I do
Yeah.
respect the honesty, and honestly, and I think that works the best too, because it's like it's so pure that
Mhm.
Sure.
it came out pure. It wasn't written that way, like you said. It wasn't. It was non-descriptive. It wasn't written for a black person, and Dwayne Jones just nailed that part. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Dwayne Jones, right? Last
Dwayne
name.
Jones, yeah.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson.
The Rock's in this.
Well, I'm thinking Dwayne, and then it referred back to his script, which we had characters and actors' names used as main cast actors.
I
and
want
Dwayne was one of them.
Dwayne Johnson in the remake now. Just Barbara. No,
Hey.
you're rolling. Shut your mouth.
Fucking rock bottoms, Barbara.
I'd watch that. I'd watch the hell out of that.
Stop being hysterical, Barbara.
It's brilliant. It's not my favorite, but it is 2 or 3. It's second or third, probably second, but I go back and forth on another one.
Well, that's a shit take,
No,
Jess Graham. It's
But I
crazy.
100% agree. It is timeless. Like you can, and that might not be about my favorite one either. That one might
On
not be
another one.
considered
So we're talking about
timeless.
either the next one or the next one.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I used
this
to
one is
this one
timeless.
this one used to be my favorite, and then I had to do research for that script. So Jess had me watch all of these movies and then watch Return of the Living Dead. And it just so happened that this was at the beginning of the whole zombie fucking
Yeah.
craze. The Walking Dead came out.
Yeah.
So I'm so fucking burned out on zombies.
Which was sad.
By the
because I
way,
was
they're not
having
even called zombies in this.
craze
They're
before
ghouls.
Yeah, no, they're goals. That's
I've
but-
been wanting to do a zombie, I had the craze for several years before that craze.
It would have been
public
cheaper
craze.
if we would have done vampires, Jess.
Yeah, you never know.
it's hard to like fully say how much money Night of the Living Dead has made over the years through all the different home media for formats and what have you, but it's said that it made over 263 times its budget.
Yeah, but they were all like separate companies. Really, the one I remember is the Good Times VHS. I saw at a friend's house.
Oh, there's
or something, but like there was
a
dozens.
it
thousand
was-
releases of this.
It was on every 1,000 movies or 100 movies or whatever release. you know?
Yeah, I actually own it on the 50 horror box set.
Yeah.
Those classics.
Yeah.
It's available that cheap, yet it's also on Criterion 4K. So that's such
Yeah,
a range of
yeah.
ways you
So
can get
that's
it.
where you
Fucking
watch
weird.
it. But no, there's just something about just the mood of this one. I mean, obviously, again, happy accident. They wouldn't have shot this in black and white. It's just a lower budget movie, and my
Right.
God, does it work a lot better in black and white? It's and I'll go for it. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, actually, they're talking about the color version. I mean, that's fine as a curiosity piece, but no, it doesn't work as well in color. There's really no reason to do that. The black and white just adds so much. And again, not intentional, but you can feel, I know like Carnival of Souls was also an influence, and that doesn't get mentioned enough, from 1962, another public domain classic. And but Richard Matheson's I Am Legend is got to be recognized, because you wouldn't have Night of the Living Dead without Matheson.
No, and I think Romero has said that he's pretty much ripped that off, but he just changed the vampires to the zombies, ghouls, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
And a bit of
as much as
body
George
snatchers.
Romero's the godfather of zombie movies, there were zombie movies before this.
Well, he created.
Lugosi did White Zombie.
Oh,
yeah, but they were
wasn't-
never like
Okay. But White
No.
Zombie didn't inspire a whole subgenre. I mean,
Damn well
without,
should have. It's a damn
without
good
Night of the
movie.
Living Dead, you don't have
Anything.
Resident Evil,
Anything.
anything like that.
He
Yeah.
created what the modern zombie. He
But are we
created the
saying that
modern
that's a
zombie.
good thing?
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yes.
a lot of good
Yeah,
shit.
I think it was. It just got overplayed
Well,
out.
Walking Dead really fucked it. And once we get into
Yeah.
Land, I'm gonna got a little tangent for that. But
The zombies in White Zombie are actual zombies. These are not zombies. These are ghouls.
look. No one cares about these 19 fucking 30s and 40s and 50s
Ooh,
movies.
I gotta
Oh.
disagree there.
No one cares.
I Walked with the Zombie is a classic. So is White Zombie. I mean, all of those are worth seeing. Plague of the Zombies, which gets forgotten about from the 60s.
So, meaning you got to what? Bury these fuckers in the ground and do a voodoo curse on them? Is that the whole deal?
it was the voodoo angle. I mean, that was what a zombie was. But I mean,
but
that's an impressive resume to say you created an entire subgenre, which
Oh,
you
yeah.
did.
Romero.
Because
Sure. He did.
all the zombie lore going forward comes straight from this. Shooting them in the head.
Yeah.
All, you know?
Yeah.
Killed the brain.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if it weren't for, the copyright issue, Romero should have been filthy rich, which
should have.
Should have
I,
been.
I do want to point out that using today's vocabulary, there's some lines in this movie that come off really perverted. There's the interview scene where they're talking to the guy who's in charge of the posse that's going around killing all the zombies, and he's talking about how there was a bunch of them that were like attacking a shed, and I believe the line is we had to beat them off and then blast them. It's just
Get these N words. Get them all.
my dirty mind is just
oddly enough,
Mine's in the gutter.
in Night of the Giving Head, you have to beat them off too. So there is.
Well, see.
Jesus.
Hey, Ben. Joined at an interesting time.
Has
Serpent in the Rainbow. That's a whole nother topic.
That's
I
a
like
great
that
movie.
one. Yeah,
it's a good one.
I have that movie and still have not watched it.
you should.
That's good.
I should, but
good.
I keep running into these things where like I seen somebody doing a review on the movie Broken Arrow. Now I want to sit down and watch Broken Arrow.
It's a good one too.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
You know another interesting thing about this movie for me is like Cooper. You can call him an asshole, but he was
He's right.
right.
He was right.
Yeah,
that's actually a theme that runs through
See?
these movies. Is the assholes right in most of them? So
if they had just held up in there, they probably would have been fine. They could have called for help when they heard the cavalry coming in. And I don't know. I mean, maybe Ben still gets smoked if you go with the bunch of racists story, but like most of them would have been fine.
I would have probably, followed Ben though, because he does make a good point too. I don't want to be trapped down there, and if enough of them did get in, we didn't know the people were coming the next morning to rescue everybody.
Right.
This could have gone on like the other movies for months, years.
It is, but you had at least a vague idea. They're slower moving.
Yeah,
I
but once
mean-
you get enough in there and they're surrounding that basement, that cellar door, you're not getting out and you're fucked.
Jess,
Yeah, but-
you've never seen the movie 300, have you?
I have actually. I think I saw that in theaters.
They gotta all be able to fit through the door. If they can't get through the doorway, they can't come downstairs.
Yeah, but we can't get out to get more food and things. And
I mean, they're not coordinated. You could just
I place
after they
us in
fall
there.
down the steps,
they're-
beat them
They're
off
stupid.
really
They're
quick.
stupid as shit. So
There
But
goes Dan
Well,
beating off those
smell
zombies
like
again.
dinner.
That's how you take them out.
is that
Yeah, go ahead.
not the irony in it though that Ben didn't want to go in the basement at all, but yet he ends up in the basement at the end.
Yeah, that total irony, and it's what saves him
It is,
at
but
least for that time.
for that
Yeah.
time, and that's what like everybody's already said it, classic, whatever. But yeah, that's just one of my favorite endings because it's like I think Dan already said it, but he goes through all this shit, and then like maybe the first time you ever watch it, there's that little hope, like okay, Ben makes it, right? He went through all this, he's coming out, Calvary's here, and then he gets shot.
It is. It's one of the best.
Hey, they're here to
horror
save us.
endings
Oh,
ever.
take
Yeah.
one in the face.
Yeah, I mean that's
And that was, and for I would say at that time a dark ending, and not to mention not only for this movie, like being 68, independent movies ain't a thing. I mean, it's all
Right.
Hollywood, other than I think Carnival Souls.
yeah,
was
like you said,
independent and it did
shooting this
real.
in black and white when most movies were being shot in color now at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Even the B ones.
And I'll say for me, it's fucking a classic. I love it. When I was young and stupid, I preferred the 90s over this, but now that I'm older and wiser, I enjoy this.
That was the
Much
same
more.
here, Jake, I think, because first watching it, I placed this with like the Universal Classic Monsters, thought it was an older movie than it actually was.
Right.
And it was like, yeah, this is cool for an old movie. That's fine. And going back to it later, I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, you're a kid. It feels older than it actually is, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
That's, as I saw the remake before I saw the original, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I don't even think I've probably seen, this on another movie I watch because it's in every horror movie,
Yeah.
before I even seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I don't think I have.
So let me ask you guys this, okay? The last horror rumble we did Psycho, and the shower scene was the big classic scene. Everybody's seen it. It's iconic. Where does the "They're Coming for You, Barbara" scene at the beginning?
I mean, it's up.
How close does that rank to the Psycho shower scene?
I think it's just as
Way
close.
up.
I mean, it's an iconic opening scene in horror.
It's higher for me.
I
but
kind of
I
think
mean-
Yeah,
that.
personally, you're right, Jay. It's higher, but
Yeah.
What were you saying,
kinda
Kory?
think that- yeah, I kind of think that's maybe the most iconic line in a horror movie. Honestly,
I think, yeah, I mean, it's just such a good scene because, like, I'd basically be Johnny. I mean, I'd be fucking with her like that too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
it's relatable and good casting with Bill Moseley stepping into that role later on. But yeah, no, it's just so good, and so
It
much
is.
of it was just just guys going out trying to make a movie on a very tiny budget, and they made something that I think will be remembered long after we're all gone.
Yeah.
And then,
Speaking of that, I've got the Living Dead girl tattooed on my leg, so that shows you how much I love this movie
Mhm.
hell yeah.
yeah.
that Orc was talking about.
I wanted to say I don't have much more to say other than you guys have, but I did want to mention throwing a little more hate to John Russo. How about those scenes shot for the 30th anniversary edition of this movie?
Oh, the Anchor Bay that they did.
yeah.
Stuff them back in a sack. That's worse than
That's a bad one.
what George Lucas did to the special edition.
Yes.
It's worse than what Peter Jackson did to Kong. I don't know what else to say.
Oh,
You're right.
oh.
You're right.
John Russo sucks, dude.
He
He's made some good movies, but he's fucking
He
sucks, dude. He is still alive, right? Unfortunately.
He is.
Damn,
Wow.
it should have been you at the end of the movie,
Hey,
you son of a bitch.
Better him than George, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, and before we get off this, something we didn't mention is, which you'll notice in his later films, the backlash he got for Barbara being,
Well,
I guess,
Hysterical.
she wasn't
well-
supposed to be. It was just a case where Romero was just really enjoyed how good she was at the beginning of the movie, so she kind of stayed in that.
She stayed
mode.
longer than she needed to, but he got a lot of flack, and you'll notice that he writes up his females a lot more after this, and he kind of
Mhm.
tried to correct it when he did the when he rewrote the '90s version.
She shows some balls at the end, at least. I mean, it
At
is
least,
there.
but I think it works though, because like if you're somebody like that put in that situation, what the hell are you gonna do? You're probably gonna be like that, especially
Yeah.
after watching
Yeah.
your brother just die
Sure.
Yeah.
and all this going on. So I never understood like the flack he got for not making her a strong female character
I agree with that. I thought it played well.
when it makes sense, and especially something that Romero does good. Well, you know, up until a certain point, but he really writes good characters. So
I also wanted to reiterate the fact that Russo's a fucktard.
Well, Kory, you're do you have any thought? Like, this isn't your number one, but
No, but it's a movie. I remember always had this little not a fear or phobia, just a thing with like cemeteries and shit, and it's from watching this movie as a kid. So it's definitely a movie growing up that really had an impact with me, and one that you know I always have loved to watch. And it's a movie kind of like Texas Chainsaw. I've always said every time I watch that I love it a little more. So it's one like that.
Yeah.
excellent.
Another perfect film with small means.
Yeah.
Sometimes better you don't have everything at your disposal. You lose your creativity.
Well, I guess any final
Anything
thoughts?
else?
Barbara being. Yeah, exactly.
It's I like what they did in this movie with Barbara and the remake with Barbara. I think they're both kind of appropriate for the time period.
I agree with
You
that.
Yeah.
know?
I don't like. I go back and watch the '90s version now, and I like it less each time I watch it.
Really.
Yeah,
I'm kind of the opposite. I like it more every time I watch it because I wasn't the biggest fan of it to begin with. But I like Tony Todd. That's the only reason I watched it.
Tony Todd's great.
I didn't like the thing you guys were talking about Dwayne Jones in this one is what I didn't like what they did with Tony Todd in making him a zombie in the end of that one.
Yeah, I didn't like the way they did the ending. I don't think Barbara was believable in that either. Cause hell yeah.
We might as well just, since they aren't
Get it out of the way.
officially in here, we'll just get them with the respected movies. Yeah.
Real quick, I think I've seen this movie once, and it was years ago, and I have not seen it since. So
I thought that was on your list to watch for They Rise.
I'm sure it was, and that's probably when I watched it, and I haven't seen it since. So
I give assignments.
he does.
Here's your
I'll get it
homework.
over with pretty quickly too. I thought it was awesome, and it's one of those, for me especially, because I'm not a big remake person, but it's one of those rare remakes that are really great and possibly ranks up there, close to even the original. The older I get, it's definitely not as great as the original, but it is a great remake, and Romero wrote it, so it is still Romero.
Yeah, it's a good remake. I enjoy the movie very much. I mean, I don't understand anybody preferring it over the original, but they do a good job. I mean, the casting's great. Tony Todd, Bill Moseley. I think Patricia Tallman is
Michael Rooker.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's still like kind of close to the original, but I'm good. They make enough changes to
Tom Matthews.
Yep.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, I was gonna say actually. I think Tom Tolles does a great job as Harry Cooper, but
Oh fuck! I said micro-Ukrainians. I was thinking of Tom Pope. Never mind.
I assume that's what you meant. But yeah, no.
That is.
I mean, he plays
Twisted Teas.
great asshole, but I still kind of like, looking at the 68 version, it's like, well, I don't know. Cooper wasn't really such an asshole. He even helps Ben, even though he hesitates, he helps Ben and then takes the ass whooping. Like, in a lot of ways, I can kind of understand why Cooper at that point would have a lot of bad feelings towards Ben.
I mean, are you gonna take the advice of a guy that has that high a waistline on his pants, though? I mean, it's almost up under his nipples.
It's the 60s. What are you gonna do? He wanted to highlight the junk.
This black guy comes into my house. I mean, seriously, it was just like big time racial turmoil period of time,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of adds to it for me,
I think it adds to it more now that when you look back at history,
Sure.
more so than when it actually came out, probably.
Probably so.
'Cause
Because
it
I don't
adds
think
to
they
the-
really even considered all that. I mean,
No,
at
I
least
think
that's what they said.
It kind of adds to the mystique of that movie of how they took that chance. So.
Yeah.
They need to do an adult parody where Cooper gets cucked, like Ben is banging his wife while he's in a chair.
I'm sure you've got a copy of that, Dan.
Dan's already got the script wrote for it.
I could make a great Night of the Living Dead porn parody. It'll happen.
All
He's
right.
got like 6 Bens and 1 Barbara.
I'm sure if you ask Jess real nice, he could direct it for you.
Imagine Barbara like on the couch and then it's like all black zombies behind her. Like, you see, we got a scene.
Night of the Living Dicks. It's the first one that I'm sure we could come up with.
Night of the
Many
Living.
We'll save
Well-
it for my channel. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dicks
More than
sounds
doors.
like you're making the gay porn parody, which is fine. But yeah, no. We're gonna make this happen. We're making this happen.
Channel 11 and S'mores Indoors in association with.
I'll talk to Pugs about playing
Fleshly
Ben. We'll
features.
see how Sydney Sweeney feels about a Barbara role.
Hey, I'm on board. I'm all on board.
We do have a connection with Seymour Butts, so we could
Starring Seymour Butts, Jay the
Pretty well.
There you go.
Stingray, and Jake Slaughterport as himself.
If Sydney says no, we got Marie Posa to
There you
play
go. I'm sure she's been.
Barbara. She'll be there.
We'll get you and Kory together, Dan, to write the script. Can't wait for Dan's porn debut. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Sydney Sweeney's desperate for work these days, so I'm sure she's available.
Any final thoughts on the original Night of the Living Dead or its remake?
Perfect horror movie, one of the greatest of all time.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely overrated.
Whoa. Did you just do that on purpose?
Yeah.
I think he did.
We're not talking about the poster now. Come on.
The poster does suck. I mean, we can probably agree on that.
That never gets old.
10 points to S'mores Indoors.
Did you
All
know Humphrey Bogart had the biggest pussy name of all time?
Whoa.
Got a lot of it because of his name, but yeah, okay.
Can't let that go unchecked.
Swaggy has one last thought.
Yeah.
Barbara, people like to apply present standards to past events and people.
Exactly.
It's unfair. You're right.
Yeah.
Georgia
But,
Dan in the Temple of Porn.
So yeah.
He's got it.
Hey, Kory, just so you know, those 10 points Jess just gave you, it's like, whose line is it anyways? The points don't matter.
Okay.
1,000 points to Kory.
There you
S'mores
go.
Indoors.
All right.
Scene 3-05, take 5.
And action. I'll check it out.
This can't be right. I mean, I know what I heard on the radio, but it just doesn't seem real, you know?
I know what I saw. But they can't be what they look like.
What did you see?
They're fucking zombies outside.
Cut. That was it.
Now, mind you, a lot of the shakiness is just me holding the phone up to the screen to record that. But yeah,
And actually, what that guy was doing when he walked off scene was he was going to answer the door because the Geico Gecko was out there with a plate of cookies.
he's in a recent Geico commercial. If any, you probably it's hard to recognize commercial people, but he's a guy who answers the door in the Geico commercials. Our friend Diego Garcia, and he's been in Entourage. He was the set painter for Medellin. If any of you ever watched Entourage.
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 I love that show.
Yeah, but he is, and again, that long show. There would have been cuts. He went out to check there's.
Text him
just
right
rotate.
now and ask if Jeremy Piven ever showed him his penis.
I don't think he did. I did ask him a lot of questions back in the day.
Okay. Apparently,
Oh,
he
hey,
did.
and for you music fans, he's also the lead singer of a band out in LA. So if you ever get a chance to check out Stage 11.
Oh, nice. Nice.
All right, and our movie now is Dawn of the Dead, the original. It's
10 years later.
my favorite.
This was
Really?
my favorite.
It's
Yeah.
mine too.
I know. I think it's
Was my
cliche. It was your
Good point.
favorite, but now the first one is. I mean,
yeah. I love
didn't-
Day. I love Day. I'm sorry.
Day is good too, and we're gonna get to that.
I know.
That was a tough one to go back and forth on at the moments, but zombies for me were not that important early on. It was the early 2000s, and it was this. I'd seen, saw these bits on TV, thought, oh, that's horrible makeup. I'm into Freddy, Jason, and all that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
then,
when I saw it as well. I actually watched this after I saw the remake. So,
okay, so about the same time, and is that
Yeah.
when zombies themselves finally kind of clicked to you?
sure.
That was me. It was like
Huge.
USA Up All Night, and it'd probably been on for years off and on that. And I finally was like, late night movie. I'm young, but I'm an adult now, and it's
I was trying to figure out
Fell
why
in
the
love.
Smurfs were eating people.
it was more than that though. The zombies were they were there. It was the whole being isolated in a mall, and it's the 70s, so, and I remember the 70s, 80s looks of malls very well. And this is a perfect time for nostalgia for me to go back to those. So I was like, to be trapped in this mall is the perfect scenario. Magically has power that's not running out anytime soon.
Even now, when like malls really don't exist anymore, it's great to watch it just for that aspect,
Yeah. Though I think that might be the thing that doesn't hold up for newer generations as far as being timeless compared to
They don't
the
understand,
Night of
yeah.
the Living Dead.
So
It's
Sure.
timeless.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
our
But-
main social spot was the mall. So yeah, I mean, there is
Yeah.
a degree of that. But this is a weird movie because I hear people a lot, and I don't understand it because I watched all of these again, so it'd be fresh. I mean, I've seen them many times, especially the first three, but this movie is not boring. I don't understand that take on this movie. I mean,
No.
the first 50 minutes, roughly, maybe an hour, is like nonstop action, even before we get to the mall. And there's all these iconic. I mean, Dawn was the one that, for special effects lovers, really did it. I mean, the helicopter zombie kill
yeah.
is so good. I mean, that still holds up to this day. And yeah, it is. It's a very fast-paced movie, and we have a little bit of fun in the mall, but it's not like it slows to a crawl or anything. I still watch the long cut of the movie, and I think it works well. It is a jump here because the first film is like the true horror film. I mean, they're not going for comedy or anything, and he wanted a comic book tone for this, so it does have the humor spliced in.
Is that the Argento cut? Is what the long cut is?
No.
There's four different cuts, right?
There's 4 different cuts. I haven't watched the Argento one in a while.
Which one's the 2.5 hour long one?
Corey
That's the one I watched.
Kory hates it.
I still think it works fine. I really do. And it's, again, I understand, like, it's a different tone. I can understand why maybe some of the music doesn't work for people. I think the characters are great. Ken Foray as Peter, I think, is fantastic. I think everybody's doing their job. The late great David Emge. I think everybody does a good job and is memorable.
The whole cast,
yeah. This one's just, again, different, but a lot of fun, and I think they hold the tension throughout. And I mean, it's pretty impressive. 10 years later, society has changed quite a bit from 68 to 78, and he's still able to create something that for a lot of people is just as memorable. I think it's changed in recent years, but for a long time, the typical answer was Dawn is my favorite.
I would think most people still feel that way.
Yeah, I think there's a lot.
It's hard not to call it the definitive zombie movie, even though Night of the Living Dead is the original.
It's such a step up,
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny though, because essentially, despite the success of Night of the Living Dead, Romero was still not working on a massive budget. The $1.5 million reported budget, even Richard Rubinstein admits that was inflated for the foreign buyers, and it was really like under $500,000.
Really? Wow.
That they were working with. Yeah. And the budget was so limited. Tom Savini and Tasso Stavrakis, they were doing almost all of the stunts and everything themselves. I think some of the driving stuff they didn't do, but they were doing it themselves. I mean, Savini almost died by missing the padding on one of the falls he did. Tasso at one point smashed into the ceiling.
But those guys were also like wild at that time and were volunteering to do it before they were even asked by George. They're like, "Hey, I want to fly off this balcony."
Yeah.
They'd come up with the shit.
It was just a punk rock kind of atmosphere. I mean, there was an incident that they talk about on set where one of the zombie extras got drunk and stole this golf cart and crashed it in the mall and caused like $7,000 worth of damage. I think he destroyed a pillar or something, if I remember right. So yeah, I mean, even the making of this is just insane. You're taking over a mall. You've got some of the bikers, almost all of them were members of the Pagans gang, and those guys are rough. I've played cards with some of those guys. Like, it is a gang. And that they were just on a movie set shooting all this crazy shit. And it's totally different, but a classic in its own right. I'm still Night is the best, but I love this movie. Every time I watch it, I keep thinking like maybe I'm gonna become one of these haters at some point, but I don't. I love Dawn of the Dead. I'm sorry.
I just don't. I'm kind of like you. I don't see what there is to hate. To me, this is my favorite. I mean, that it just adds to it to me. Mm-hmm. I think those 4 main characters are just, you just kind of fall in love with them. And when the end comes for Roger and Flyboy, it's just kind of heartbreaking, especially when that elevator opens and Flyboy's a zombie now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really sad. But and then the whole mall setting is just something that takes me back to being a kid. And I've always said that's why I love Night of the Comet too, because it kind of reminds me of Dawn of the Dead in that aspect. So,
See, ironically, I think Night of the Comet is kind of a really overrated movie.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
love that one.
sorry. I know people like that one. Night of the Comet's one. Every time I watch it, I'm just
I
like,
love
I'm
it.
in the same space. Yeah.
So, question for you guys: which explanation for the zombies or whatever do you guys buy into? The whole "there's no more room in hell" or the radiation from the satellite?
Well, the
More of a
radiation
normal-
from the satellite, since it was in the newsreel, and night seems to make the most sense. But
I'm the opposite. I lean towards more the normal room in hell, but not maybe exactly that, but kind of something more spiritual. I don't know if spiritual is the word, but something with paranormal. What was the one dude said in Day of the Dead that he's, the creator's mad, he's pissed off at it. So
yo,
Kinda like
motherfuckers
not
were
knowing
eating
the
ass.
answer.
God damn it!
was that?
Sorry, Jay.
I was saying I kind of like not knowing the answer.
That's
Yeah.
what I think that more leans towards the just not paranormal. That's what I want to. I don't want to
Right.
know the actual
Mhm.
scientific answer why this happened.
It's here. Deal with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I mean, you wouldn't know if you were in. I mean, if it happened, like, I don't think the why is going to be a big thing. You just try and survive and live with it. So,
Is there?
No,
Go ahead.
Go, Kory.
Corey. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, last thing I'll say about it is, it's kind of cool that David Emge was like from the next town over from me. So when he passed away, I got to go out to his grave, and I have that big second sight set. And in the book that came with it, I have a rose petal from his grave stuck in that book. So,
that's
kinda
very
cool to have.
That's cool.
You could have gotten really morbid
Very,
and
very
just said you
cool.
have David Emge.
Yeah, I could have dug him up, stuck him in the corner back here.
In his cellar.
Look.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean C. Clark, suck my dick. I bet you don't have this.
Yeah, go have that little poltergeist clown jerk you off.
Oh gosh, that.
I've got
Whoa.
David motherfucking Emge right here.
But I will sell him to you for the right price.
And that's S'mores Indoors, P.O. Box.
That'll be $2 million, and I want you to punch Norman Reedus in the balls.
Yeah.
Oh, what were you gonna
I
say,
don't
Jay?
hate this movie at all. I love this movie, but it's just not my favorite. I just what they did with the original is so great that this was a much expedited venture that is great. It's a great movie. I love Tom Savini in the mix. He's always good. The makeup, with better transfers, that's gotten better and better. That it really kind of shows.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a really minor gripe.
Yeah. The pacing thing with Dawn is the one thing I just really don't get it. I never felt that this movie dragged at all.
This was the movie that made me go back and watch with intent, with passion. I don't know what I'm saying the right words, with like Night of the Living Dead, and then check out Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
So,
you
were talking about pacing. Not to keep cutting you off, Jake, either. But is there a different cut that you guys prefer? I've seen them all, and they're all very different movies. It's not like there's just scenes added. Like when you hear somebody else's cut, it's like completely different angles. And at least like the Argento one, through the whole movie.
I mean, the Argento cut is like the lesser from my memory, because again, I don't revisit it very often. But I mean, You're good with the 2 hours, 7 minutes cut, I think it is.
That's the U.S.
I mean, that's a good
theatrical
cut.
version. I think that's a good standard. Definitive to me.
Because
Probably for general audiences, I'd say. Yeah, it works. I like the extended edition, but
as a fan, I love being able to have different options of my same movie in a sense.
Mhm.
But Jake,
I watched
take on
the.
this? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say I watched the 2.5 hour version on YouTube. So.
Really?
Yeah, somebody uploaded it. So.
That is not free. Whatever they call
Copyright.
it.
Yeah, it's not public domain. Don
Copyright.
is not public
Yeah.
domain. Copyright free, no.
What would you guys do? I mean, if you were held up in a mall, which is actually a dumb place to try and hold up in the zombie apocalypse, but I mean,
honestly, no.
though?
That's the whole why. Yeah, why I love this movie is if it actually you are going to have power, that was possible.
They have everything they need.
Exactly.
Now hold on a second.
But
It depends
quite a
on
fortress.
what your mall has, because our mall didn't have shit but an arcade 10 years before it fucking died.
I feel like the actual amount of food in there, I don't know if it's really the place to be like held up permanently.
Well,
time,
now for sure not. Yeah.
No, not now. But
I mean,
the 80s, even our mall would have been.
You're gonna stick out, and a lot of these places, like in like dystopian things, it's like, all it takes is somebody just driving their fucking car through to get in there. I mean, it's.
I've got 10 years worth of Dippin' Dots right here, so I'm good.
Just shoot. I guess if modern malls had like gun shops and everything, which actually
Sbarro, that's all you need.
Yeah, I've never seen a gun shop in a mall. Have you guys?
No.
Technically, a Walmart was one of the anchor stores in ours back in the 80s, and I'm sure they carried guns.
That would have, back then, yeah.
So
They also carried fish back then too, so
and other pets at one point.
Yes,
you did have cooler shit in malls back then, but I don't know. Maybe you get like lonely. You just have like the guys, the bodies of the guys, like as zombies at the local like Chinese place there and everything.
That'd be stinking. I don't want that near my food.
Yeah, but you're lonely, Jess. You want to keep your routine going. If I'm gonna buy some shitty chicken, I want to buy it from the shitty chicken guy.
You saying you want to fuck the bodies, Dan? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's what he's saying.
How lonely you are?
You just tie them like so. It's like you're going through your routine. It's like I'm pretending you're actually alive, and I get my food.
Get some sesame chicken, and I'm gonna fuck this dude over here on the ground.
When you're done, shitty chicken, maybe. No.
Has everybody but me shared their thoughts on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
so.
please.
Go for it.
For the longest time, this was my favorite. And especially as a kid, just I think Jess, you might have mentioned it, but as a kid watching them fucking have free, run through the mall, just getting shit was cool to see. It's kind of like a fantasy you would love as a kid. But I do think characters are great, and one thing he does in this that I don't think he really does again is Roger, how he slowly turns, but he gets bit and they're just fucking still wheeling him around and he's having a good old time, and his time's coming up.
Yeah.
And so
It's getting delusional.
Yeah. And then
kind of a slower progression.
It is.
That's
and
what,
that's what I think makes it better, because it's not just a quick turn where you got to grow to liking, but then you're feeling for him as it goes on, and you see him kind of deteriorate, as time goes on. And then the tension with Flyboy and fuck, I forget what Galen Ross's character is. Like that whole scene where they're having dinner and fucking Ken Foray's the third wheel, and they're going back and forth, turning the TV on and off.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's still great. Right now, it's not my favorite, but the thing with the three is like, ask me tomorrow, and my favorite's probably going to be
Yeah.
different.
Sure.
Because they're all three perfect movies to me.
Sure.
I think
Right,
I've
I
said
think-
that before. You can be okay and rotate this first three movies.
Absolutely.
That's just one thing I want to hop on what you were saying there, Jake, about that scene where they're flipping the TV off and on or different channels, whatever. Is that, they thought they had the perfect spot to be hold up, and be safe and have everything they need. But, all that tension and the pressure around them kind of made them enemies against each other in a way, so.
Yeah.
Is this
It's great.
anybody's favorite but mine? Because this will always be my favorite.
This
I
is my
rotate.
favorite.
You
This
too,
was
Kory?
my favorite.
Yeah.
It was mine too, but right now it's different. But
Second favorite.
I do want to add to something that Jake had said, kind of going back to some of the stuff that we drew from these movies when I was writing the script for They Rise was I wanted to make it so that when somebody was bit or scratched or whatever, depending on where they were bit or scratched, determined how long it took them to turn. So it wasn't like if they got bit on the leg, they died right away and then came back right away. It was just determined. It kind of gave like a timeline for how long the person had. So that was one thing that Jess and I had talked about when I was working on the script for that movie, that's something we wanted to emphasize was depending on where and how they were attacked, how long it took them to turn.
So farther from the torso.
Yeah. From the torso or from the brain, whatever, a major organ that would kill them. So.
Yeah, that's right. We did.
yeah.
One other thing I'll say is this is my favorite one of these movies, and it's also, without question, in my top 5 of all horror movies. So.
Yeah.
It's
great. I think
it's up there.
Sorry, not to cut you off.
No, I was just
Go ahead.
kind of agreeing with him. I don't know about top 5, but it's up there. Go ahead, Jake.
I'll just say out of these Romero Dead films, I do think that this is the most likable ensemble of characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
I mean, there's not that, you got it in night and then day. Of course, that one, dickhead character, there's really not one in this one. And you get to see like the evolution of Flyboy in a way, because he's fucking pointing guns at Ken Foray and he's getting all pissed off at him and he's just kind of fucking shit up. And then, after Roger guys, he has to take more responsibility and then he kind of goes gung-ho at the end and it doesn't end well for him.
No.
And one thing about these movies is all the zombies have done conventions, like there's the Hare Krishna zombies, there's the guy that gets his head chopped off, they're all at conventions all the time.
But think of those some of
were
those zombies themselves, which are basically featured background.
Yeah.
Those minor characters made an impact in your brain. You recognize
for sure. Yeah.
Those zombies, those characters.
Yeah,
I think
and
that's why it's such an important movie because of that. I mean, one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Probably not the last shitty 2 ones, but there's like a memorable zombie in almost every one of these movies. At least one.
I love how Jake hates these movies more than I do.
Oh, brother, when we get there, I just watched them today, okay? I haven't fucking sat through these pieces of shit. Just wait till I get to diary. Oh my fucking God.
We're going to get to it.
Last thing I wanted to say, and it's kind of in comparison to the remake, is that I love the fact that this one only has 4 characters in it or whatever, and then I prefer that over the fucking dozen that they have in the remake. You don't get to know half the characters that are in the remake, really. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to wait, save it till the end because we still got a lot of movies to go, Jess. So I won't say nothing about the remake.
You can say about the remake. Well, wait, no, we haven't yet. Oh, we will get to that actually, but
Okay,
sooner
if
than
you want to
later.
wait till.
But I want to finish up the original Dawn before we touch up on the remake.
Okay.
I've got a last thought in a second, but we'll go ahead and read Daily Ghost, Dawn Rules. I remember seeing scenes of that in my neighbor's VHS at about in 1983.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
And I will
He
say
was
this is the
traumatized.
first one. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just.
I just say this is the first one I've watched out of these Romero. First one I ever seen.
Well, it's probably the most popular. I mean,
It was
Oh,
like I
yeah.
said, the first one I
Definitely.
ever focused on. I'd seen the other in bits and really didn't think too much about them.
How many releases did freaking Anchor Bay do of this? You know,
200.
Yeah.
So many. That was their like that and what Evil Dead, one of the Evil
And
Dead.
Halloween.
They're like
Evil Dead and Halloween. Yeah, they released them about 15,000 times.
That's so crazy because it was so accessible back then, and now it can't get a release
Can't
here.
get it.
yeah.
I know. I still got my fucking Anchor Bay set,
Yeah.
and I'm good with that.
It's a fucking Ash Bloody Glove edition. The Ash fucking Chainsaw Hand edition.
Yeah, I think every time they decided to put that out, somebody probably asked, "Do we really need to do this again?" It's like, are you gay?
Well, I mean, have you seen the fucking bank statement lately? God damn, come on, we got to get to it.
Yes, at least
P&Ls are
once every
sucking,
2
dude.
months.
I'd love to pick what's his name? The fella the bald fella that has worked on all the movies.
Michael Felcher?
Yeah, Felcher. Yeah. Love to pick his brain on all that stuff.
No, he was in
Well, he's in what, Diary?
Diary, and
Yeah.
I don't know if he did Survival too. He's in Land and Diary though.
Diary.
I believe. Yeah.
He says he's got like hours and hours of recorded audio interviews with Romero.
He's put a lot of that out.
Well, no, not this stuff. He hasn't. He says he thinks the way he's going to do it is like a podcast kind of form, just to get it out there. Because it's
be
from
down with
beginning
that.
to the end. Because he was like really close to Romero, too.
Yeah.
Before you go to the next movie, I just wanted to shout out Lauren and Jonathan, who both think this movie is boring.
Which
I
I
know.
understand.
Oh,
Anybody says this morning.
There's your answer out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fucking
the movie,
boring, stupid.
the movie really though, it's not slow. It's not a slow
It's not,
movie.
and it's not as slow as any of the fucking other ones either.
not enough Korean schoolgirls in this for me.
Well, I was saving this line for it, but it's been called. It's the party movie of the zombie Romero's zombie
for
movies.
sure.
And it
For sure.
and it's a blast.
Yeah.
It's not just Jonathan and Lauren though. Like, there's a lot of people that say the same thing, and I just don't see it when I watch this movie.
I don't either, because what's the next movie? You could say the same thing for the first one and this next one. If that's the opinion you want to take about
Yeah.
this one, like
I would say the
you're
next
not
one,
gonna-
especially, even though it's my favorite. Like, I could totally agree with you on that.
yes. So like you're not gonna sit here and tell me you like Day and say
Yeah.
Dawn's boring,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
that doesn't work for me, brother.
for sure.
You need to
I
get
don't know
on
what
that,
you
Ben.
think, Ben. You really haven't seen the original?
What?
Come
God
on,
damn
man.
it,
You're full
Ben.
of shit. You've seen everything.
I'm not gonna
man.
give you shit, and
I'm
I'm
gonna give you
actually
shit.
curious. I'd like you to
Movie
watch
ever
it
Ben,
to
what
just
the
tell me what
fuck?
you
Fuck
think of
is-
it at this
I can't believe
this
it.
day
No,
and age
but-
and this your perspective. You know,
He's
Watch
probably
it.
seen fucking Screamboat Willie or Peter Pan's Neverland or
Come on,
some of
man.
that stupid
I-
shit, but he's never seen Dawn of the Dead. What the fuck?
It's just gonna be like a promo on anybody that doesn't like it.
I don't believe that.
I don't
believe
get the
that.
hate. Like I don't know. It's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, I don't get the hate either.
Well, my last thing is I actually got to watch this now. Over a decade ago, they do movies in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Dan knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And Sinespia, and they had a Dawn of the Dead there. They play it in the cemetery in Hollywood, right against Douglas Fairbanks'
So cool.
mausoleum. And you're in the cemetery, and they do a little photo shoot there too. Yeah, and
Oh, that's cool.
Is that
it was
you?
the lar-
You can't even- is
that
that
is
you
me
then?
on the right. That's me on the
I can't
blue,
even tell.
blue shirt.
The
Yeah, you
smoke's
can't.
covering your face.
My wife's in the middle. You can barely. It's like I don't know what there was real practical smoke there. This is in front of a different mausoleum stairs, something. And
By practical
according, they
smoking
said they
means there's like 5 or 6 hippies behind there fucking smoking on a bong.
there was some smoking and wine and cheese in the crowd. It's a blast, and according to it's a big huge thing. The guys who organized it talked to Romero at this time, and he said from the numbers and what he could tell, he wasn't there, that they probably had the largest audience screening the movie together at the same time.
That's cool.
Because it's spread out. I wish I could had a picture of the whole thing, but you can look them up, the Hollywood Forever Cemetery screenings. Because this is another pick from Hitchcock Strangers on a Train, but at the Hollywood Forever. And we get there early. My buddy DW, he had an inside, so we could drive our car in, which most people couldn't.
It
And we
looks
gotta
like
pick our
you're
spot
ready
early.
for Andy Dick right there, Jess.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Jess, pull that picture back up again.
You were
I'd
ready
already-
to receive-
Smiley.
What were you looking for?
Was that Lindsay
you
in that picture?
No, it's only DW might have been in it. He would have been there. Oh, Melissa was in there. She's in it. And my wife. Yeah, I can't pull it back up now. We're gonna
You're fine.
Cliff Booth.
What's up, Cliff?
I agree.
Yeah, first time he saw it, he cheered when Ken made a break for it in the helicopter. Yeah. Great moment.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
Wasn't originally he was supposed to shoot himself and she was supposed to walk into the fucking blades of the helicopter?
Something like that, which would have been a horrible ending for this movie.
I could have lived with
Anyway,
that.
since we'll just get it over with, any thoughts on the Dawn of the Dead remake?
I mean, I can go first. Other than the opening scene, this movie's a piece of shit. Zack Snyder can suck my dick. He fucking sucks.
I disagree with all that.
I agree with everything Jake just said, with the exception of the use of the Richard Cheese version of Down with the Sickness is fucking awesome.
The only thing.
Johnny
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Okay.
go
Yeah, the opening scene, and he used Johnny Cash in the opening credits. So that's awesome. The rest of the movie can get fucked.
The Johnny Cash fucking rules, dude.
And zombies
Fuck yeah.
can't run.
No,
Oh, I
fuck
don't-
I mean,
off.
that's not my problem.
Zombies,
Like,
that is a big
Nope.
problem for me.
No, I'm
They're
out of here.
dead. The
I'm leaving.
heart is not pumping, therefore they have no blood. If they run,
But-
their legs will snap off.
But by
It
that
doesn't-
logic, the slow zombies shouldn't be able to tear your guts out either. So
Well, true. I don't mind the running zombies, but he's got
Facts.
this weird fucking obsession with zombie babies, and that just fucking kills this whole movie. Like, no,
That
it's
part-
not.
Disturbed.
that
I
one
think it brought
part.
a reaction from you. And it's what it was supposed to do.
No, it didn't. It's just fucking stupid because he did it. It didn't work, and then he makes a piece of shit for Netflix and tries to do it again. Like it didn't work the fucking first time. I hate Zack Snyder though. He fucking ruined the DCU, and that's a whole other thing. And
I don't disagree
he's a
with that
piece of
part
shit.
either.
Fucking human being, because he makes shitty movies. Other than The Watchmen, that's the only good thing he's made.
well, at least he's got one nice thing to say about him.
Other than that, I fucking hate this dude so much.
That movie got me back into horror films. So
Well, I'm sorry.
that and
That's
28
what
Days
I'm
Later
sorry.
both got
That
me back
movie-
into horror.
Yeah, that
So,
movie's overrated as fuck too.
it's-
But that's a
that- you
conversation for
can't-
another day.
You said though that opening scene is fucking amazing, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah,
I'll give
It's
it
fucking
that.
amazing.
But I'm not giving it anything else because it doesn't fucking deserve it.
I think I was already rejuvenated with horror, but like, and I don't know about that, Ben. I'm glad you're one who likes it because this is another remake I surprisingly like. While it's very different from the original
It's-
Dawn,
It's
I
it's
think
night
that's
and
what
day
saved
difference, dude. They're not the same. You know, you can't even put them in the same universe. You know,
you shouldn't
They're-
completely remake that. But I'm still
No.
glad it's in a mall. The setting, it
Well,
was
that's
just
fine.
fun. It
Hmm.
was fun.
Have this zombie baby, then you got the stupid fucking redneck fucking security guards.
It's possibly Zack Snyder's best movie.
It's possibly not. That's The Watchmen. I don't think he has the best movie because he's
wow,
a-
I didn't know we were gonna get this deep into this tonight.
Dude,
All right.
I don't think you understand how much I fucking hate Zack Snyder. Okay?
We get it.
You've got other hatred you're putting on this movie, though.
Well, I fucking hate him so much that I hate this movie. Okay? And it pains me to like The Watchmen because he fucking directed that movie. But I hate him. I hope he never makes another fucking movie. I hope he goes bankrupt. And I hope his life's miserable because he's made my life miserable
Wow.
having to sit through his fucking movies.
I mean,
I hope
he,
he has to suck dicks in an alley to feed his family.
That's
I
fine.
fucking hate him.
he hates him almost as bad as he hates 40-year-old women. So
No, I like them more.
Oh, they're gross, dude. They're so
He's probably like almost number one on my shit list. I don't think you understand how badly he fucked up the DCU and Batman and Superman and
you're
Justice
the only
League
person
and
I've
all
ever
that
heard
shit.
defend the DCU.
But I
So,
don't
I'm not.
care
I'm
about
not
any
defending
of
it.
that.
I'm not defending it. He fucked it up.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I'm
it was fucked from the start. But
No, it wasn't. It's fucking. There's good shit in there, but he likes to make these fucking shit that's. I mean, there's no color in anything. A Superman movie, and there's fucking no color in it. Okay. I'm getting way off. I'm done.
I agree.
That's a whole nother topic.
You said there.
I'm gonna.
It's okay.
I
He's
will say
got a pet
the
super dog
the
now that's
DCU
gonna
should have
save
been able to whoop the MCU's ass, but it did not.
Well, no, because he's stupid. There's another word I'd like
Well,
to use, but
he's
I
not
won't.
the only one at fault there. There's a lot of other people that killed that universe. But we'll get
What's
into
that
that
word
when
start
we do the Rumble on.
Oh my
superheroes.
god.
Superman
it's
was
starts with
always
C and ends
kind
with
of
Tucker, I think.
Superman was always kind of a pussy superhero, though.
Watch yourself. Anyway,
I mean,
Does that word start with an F?
the Kory's Dawn of the Dead remake. Did you guys get any jabs in there? Or?
Oh,
I like it.
I
Jay likes
agree
it.
with Jake. So
I'm not a fan of it.
of running zombies. So
I have no
I love
issues with running zombies. I mean, that's
It's a separate
that.
zombie universe for me. I can accept running zombies. I prefer the classics, but these
Yeah,
are
that-
fun movies too.
I
And
get
I like
it.
28
I don't-
Days Later.
Two
Yeah.
different things, man.
Yeah,
you know?
they're two different.
Can they not
universes, in my
exist in
opinion.
the same fucking world?
Yeah, I don't care. Do something a little different with the lore. That's fine.
I like my zombies like I like my Jason Voorhees not running.
Well, you know what? I hope he's doing parkour in Crystal Lake.
Parkour.
If I go
Just doing
crazy, then will
push-ups and
Jake still
flipping
call
tires
me
and shit.
Superman?
No, Dawn of the Dead, the remake, I have a lot of fun with it. Now, I will admit on rewatches, I think that one's got the good reputation partially because zombie movies were just becoming hot again. You know,
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead, Resident Evil, like, you know, we were in the middle of zombie mania again. I don't think it holds up as well as the original Dawn, which I do think is a classic. But
Close, yeah.
it's fun. It's a fun movie. I don't think it would have been a big deal if it was made, you know, a few years later. I really don't.
True. I do agree with that. If it waited too long, it wouldn't have been.
It wouldn't be as remembered at all.
Yeah.
It was later. Yeah.
It's fun. It's a fun movie. I still like it. It just rewatches. It's like it doesn't hold up the same way. At this point with Night and Dawn, I've seen them so many times they never lose anything for me.
Yeah.
I almost forgot. There is one other scene that I do like in this movie, and that's one other thing that I do like in the remake. And
Mark
that's
it because you hate this movie, so let's mark it down.
The relationship between the cop and the fucking gun shop owner across the way.
Oh, Vin.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Like
I did like that, and the scene where he's picking off the celebrities.
That's fun.
Oh,
It's fun.
I haven't seen it since it came out, so maybe I'll rewatch
exactly,
it.
Well,
Jay.
you're
Exactly.
fucking, you need to watch it again then.
I actually just rewatched this last week, so and I outside of the opening scene, the use of Richard Cheese and that the relationship between the cop and the gun owner or gun shop owner, I don't like the movie. You don't have enough time with the characters, in my opinion, to really get to know them like you do in the original, and it's just
there's too many too.
Yeah.
So real quick, let's do slow zombies versus fast zombies. Like I think there's more. I mean, the you know, it's more imminent with the fast zombie.
I think it's more terrifying with the slow zombie.
I don't. I think it's
no matter,
opposite.
no matter how
you rather face?
No matter how fast you're running, they still manage to catch you.
That's like any fucking slasher too. Like I wouldn't be scared if there's a zombie apocalypse and there are a bunch of fucking slow zombies. I ain't worried. Now if they're fucking running at me,
you just go over
I'm gonna
here.
have a
I'll go over
problem.
there. I'll get away from them. I'll go.
Yeah,
somewhere
but then
they're
there's a
not,
whole group
and
coming
I'll be
from
good.
over there where you just went to.
Even a
What?
Walmart scooter lady could outrun the slow zombies. You know, like you're fucked if they can run.
I think that's what I like about it, though. There's a chance with the slow zombies to survive. It's still going to be hell, and I think you guys are playing them off as too easy to get around.
No,
like in Shaun of the Dead, you know.
You have to be careful not
But-
to get pinned somewhere, obviously, but in general, again, I'm not saying like my favorite movies, they are slow for the most part, but
yeah,
it's still like, you know, Train to Busan.
I
some of
will
these
also
movies.
point out that it is human nature to become cocky, and when you think that you can run through them like they do in the original,
yeah, you have to be.
You're gonna
smart.
slip up at some point, and you're gonna get caught.
Yeah,
it's
you're
not cocky. It's that, I mean, these guys are going slow. These fuckers are running, you know.
I feel like
quarter
there's
mile.
no chance with those, and I might as well
Yeah,
just throw
yeah.
myself to the fast zombies because I don't want the fear of constantly running from those fuckers.
These
and
guys
I'm
have no
eventually gonna
arms
get
and they're
caught.
fucking running a fucking 5K, you know?
Yeah.
So in that sense, yes, they're more terrifying. But the classic ones I think I enjoy
I
more,
think they're
and they
more
are
scary,
creepier
dude.
in a way.
Orc would be able to fuck slow moving Riley Reid zombie, not the fast one. The fast one, he's not getting it in. Sorry.
The slow ones are powerful in numbers, right? That's our whole
Yeah.
deal. But you get one fast one. That
Numbers
fucker
and a
gets
bit of
you, you're
paranormal
got it.
surprise sometimes with the slow zombies too, kind of like the slashers, like Jake said, and that's probably why we lean towards them a bit. The ones who do like them.
I mean, I like both, but I'm just saying, like, you gotta,
Jay
you
goes
can't
both ways.
discredit. You can't discredit the fast zombies. You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know if a zombie scenario were a thing.
Yeah.
Chances
Rather
are
go
Well,
against.
yeah.
Yeah.
they'd probably be fast and they just burn out quicker. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we overlook with zombie movies. At a certain point, they would
I mean,
just be
it's-
mush and not be
yeah.
able to move at all. But
Sure.
yeah. We've got a hater in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, any last final words on the Dawns?
Dawn is a
love both.
classic. Jonathan is whack.
Yeah, if you rewind it a little bit, Jonathan,
I'm
yeah,
confused.
you were not
Is it
called
the most
intelligent for
over
that
or most,
opinion.
or is he trying to say most overrated? I'm
No,
assuming
he-
he means overrated.
How is it slow, Jonathan? I'd like
Overrated
you to
piece of shit
explain that.
in the genre.
'cause
You're
Come
wrong.
in here. How about that? Come in here and talk about it.
It's not slow at all. Every
We're
time I
full. We
watch
can't
it,
get
I'm
him in,
just
or
like,
I'd put him in here.
No, I'll get out.
No,
No, you're not.
we
leaving.
like having you in here right now.
Plus, he's wrong.
he is wrong.
So
Ooh. Hey, Jonathan, that's all right. You can be wrong.
Exactly. I don't think so at all. The remake is a little bit overrated, although I do enjoy it a lot.
yeah, I will agree. Maybe a little bit overrated, but I still think it's a really fun, solid remake zombie movie, especially for
And the
its time.
The reason a lot of them are slow is really for filming reasons than anything. It does become a little more complicated if they can all run. So
It's not the first time we've seen it. You know, Return of the Living Dead zombies run, and I fucking love that movie. Not quite as much as the original Dawn, but I love Return of the Living Dead. Go watch our show on that too, if you haven't seen it here on this channel.
That seems
All
to
right.
be a fan favorite.
That is a big fan favorite. I guess we'll move on to the.
I specialize in this, so when you get in the end, every aspect and working part, is working at 100% to give it the quality and stuff. So
It's probably a good idea, I would think, to say, yeah, we also do that. If anything, it's a loss leader in some cases.
Oh yeah.
And bring on a client who maybe today only has a $5,000 budget and wants to do a quick explainer video.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 months from now, he's got some investment capital, some seed capital now, and he wants to load some major production.
Yeah, we have quite a few clients now that are repeat, because we did something smaller for them or what they couldn't do the bigger one. And, a couple months later, they all of a sudden they're one just a lot bigger, and, our loyal client is a client called Mass Suit. And he made that convention.
Sorry, there was actually no audio on that video. What you're hearing is one of the post-production guys talking with a partner about a client or something. So
sounds like a drug deal in the background.
Again, I was just recording these shots as I was going through all the footage for reference.
I love that the blue lighting. Whether that was
The lighting was
intentional or
amazing
not.
in that, and I think that was Bill Reed. If you look him up, William F. Reed
There are stills
on IMDb.
There are stills on Facebook. With that blue lighting, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'll take 8 grams of that blue lighting.
Now again, there'd be certain parts of those things chopped. Well, a stretch of that that was supposed to be some long shots in there, but
and just a little insider thing here. The two characters you saw, that was Johnny and Barbara. And in this movie, they were not brother and sister, but husband and wife.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to see this movie, guys. Real.
I do too.
You're seeing
I'm
you're seeing
100%
it. Just
serious.
didn't.
I wish I could at minimum, and there's maybe a small glimmer of hope to get a super long trailer that gives most of the movie away.
Please.
If we can, if I can track down the people, get a good edit going.
I'll join your Patreon, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I couldn't do that to people. Day of the Dead. Anybody want to take that to start with?
I actually like this one. I when the first time I seen it, I didn't really care for it, and because I was kind of burned out on watching zombie movies, but rewatched it last week and actually kind of enjoyed it. So
I think Day of the Dead is a great movie. Arguably the most iconic zombie ever in Bub. I like some of the ideas that Romero is experimenting with as far as the zombies evolving, which continues into his next story, which is also ironic because initially Romero had failed to secure the proper budget for Day of the Dead, which was going to kind of feature human beings living above ground in sort of the big fortress kind of scenario that we have in Land of the Dead. And Land of the Dead kind of was essentially the original concept for Day of the Dead. Not exactly. I mean, obviously the script would have been a little different at that time, but for again, another movie where he had to pivot because of, financing issues, I think he made another classic film. I don't think it's anywhere close to Dawn, personally, but I get why people love it so much because we're seeing again that evolution in special effects between these movies, and there's 7 years in between this, but quite a bit changed between 78 and 85. And I enjoy it. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to complain about with this movie. It's just, to this point, it's like the first one I just don't hold in quite as high regard, but there's a lot of great set pieces in here. I love the opening where we've got all the zombies in town, the random fucking alligator that just pops out of nowhere. Visually, it's a really cool movie, but don't know. You could maybe poke some holes in this one. I know some point out like some of the villains, the military, they're a little over the top in this, and I enjoy them, but there's some acting moments, I would say, in this, which again is why I don't quite get everybody's thinking that this is better than Dawn. I don't think it does anything better than Dawn. But yeah, still a great movie. Zombie play.
You pretty much said most of how I feel, Dan, so I'll just quickly get my rambling out of the way. Exactly. I watched Dawn, as you said, fell in love with that, ran out, had to find his next thing. Like, I've got to immerse myself then. I want more. And while it didn't give me the party that Dawn had, they did give me at least what I was kind of searching for. We're mostly searching for. It satisfied that urge when I went out, which then brought me to loving Night of the Living Dead. So, yeah, all in all, solid. Didn't live up to Dawn, but
fantastic special effects. I mean, that is
still,
like the one thing it does really
much better special effects. The zombies look cooler. The tearing apart was more realistic. And the setting is very cool. I think that too. I love the isolation, but having everything still to survive for years, but not as fun as the mall. Definitely more depressing underground.
Yeah. Sure. I think he's definitely trying to go back to more, or at least closer to a straight horror story in this one, which is probably not the worst idea. It's just I don't know. Even for me, when Dawn is playing it straight, it still works better for me than this. But I get it. Day's coming at a very different time in the genre, and I understand why some people hold it in higher regard. But it's
So
no.
Dawn is your favorite, Jess, right?
Yes, hands down.
Dawn.
Day and night, I've gone back and forth. Probably when I first watched Day
Right.
and night, right after watching Dawn, Day was my second favorite.
Those first three, dude, they work like that. Like it's like,
Mhm.
what
They do.
day of the week is this? You know, what flavor of the month am I feeling right now? You know,
It's true. It's very true.
Day is favorite right now. And to Dan's point with the military guys, I don't think it works because it's isolation. You don't really know how long these fucking guys have been down here. Mentally, that's going to take a toll. And
Yeah, I get it. It's more like the acting's a little over the top at times. Like I like the characters; they're fun, but it's still, I don't
it
know.
works for the. I think it works. I think Dr. Frankenstein. I don't know the guy's name, but he's fucking great in his role. The general.
Richard Liberty.
I guess. Yeah, he's great in his role. I like the isolation aspect and these people that literally are closed off with each other. Like at some point, tempers are gonna flare and not get along when they should be getting along. And then add in Bub. Bub's like the coolest fucking zombie in
Agreed.
this whole franchise.
Bub's the best, dude.
From the
So
moment
did you
he
say it was your
salutes-
favorite right now, Jake? Sorry.
This is my favorite right now. Yes, by far. It's just from the moment, their bub gets there and he salutes the general and you don't salute him back and like Bub's got this fucking grudge. And
I
then
love Bub, man. I just got a shirt in from Cavity Colors.
it comes full circle.
I love Bub too, but to me, he's not the definitive. I think a couple in Dawn more give me the image of definitive than even Bub.
I don't see that.
I mean, I get it, but
I get it, but I don't see it because they don't get as much screen time as him, and you can't you know what I mean?
Your volume's going out, Jake, a little bit.
It's these.
Okay, that's not just me.
AirPods.
Your
Okay.
mic.
My AirPods.
Yeah, it comes and goes, but
Oh. If my phone wasn't dying, I'd hook up back to my regular headphones. But
I would have loved like the continuing adventures of Bub. Just have Bub just follow him zombie POV through the world. Just yeah, that would have been
Again,
cool.
I love Bub, but I don't want my zombies getting much smarter than that. I don't know.
I don't know. That's an interesting question to explore. How much of the person is still left in there?
The brain should be deteriorating, not getting smarter. Not
I
firing off
clean the
mortar
house. I vacuum floor.
Bub discovers.
Well, maybe if he's gonna do that, I do like a clean house.
Yeah, I scrub. I scrub.
He discovers Pornhub.
Oh fuck!
Kory at S'mores and Doors.
Clearly not stuck.
Oh fuck!
Are you hearing this shit?
Yeah.
Clearly,
Kory, what are your thoughts on Day?
Well, I will say that it's been a while since I revisited this one, and partially it's because that for whatever reason, the times I watched it, it just hasn't connected with me like the first two have, and maybe it's because I'm a weird horror fan, but gore and special effects like that just don't do anything for me like a good story and atmosphere do.
Really?
And I always felt like this was kind of a, like Dan was saying, it was kind of a special effects spotlight and how I guess where horror was at that time. And in terms of the story, it just doesn't connect with me. So it's a movie I can watch. I don't hate it. I do like the movie, but it just isn't anywhere near those first two for me.
Yeah,
Nice.
I agree. I mean, it's the pressure though. At that point, you create two stone cold classics that just at a certain point you're just not going to have a perfect batting record. But
What do
Day,
you
I would
mean?
not
He created
say,
another Stone Cold Classic. Oh my god!
I think
You
Day
hear
of the
yourself?
Dead.
Honestly, he's right. I was
Look,
just gonna say that by the time you hit the 90s, those Day was considered, that was the trilogy.
I
That was
would
the lightning
probably
in the
give
bottle.
Dave 5 stars. It's just, again, it's a case of it going up against two titans. And the special effects are some of the greatest practical effects in this type of movie ever. I'm not trying to like minimalize too much. It's just again, watching these movies many, many times, and Day maybe a little less so than the first two, I see more like Day's not quite as special as the other two for me. Beyond the effects. That's my take on it in 2025. Maybe it'll change again someday.
Ben wanted to know if anyone saw the OG Dawn in 3D.
I didn't get to go see it in 3D.
I didn't.
I have seen it on the big screen though.
Brian Trash likes
Wish.
Day better than Dawn. Wow. That's okay. It's okay.
I know I know a lot of people that do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on that board as well.
Me and Jay are the only normal ones here.
I love Day, dude.
I love
I
it
love Day too. Don't
again.
get me wrong.
I love
It's
all of
been
them.
my number two
The
at
first
times.
three. I love the first three so much.
Okay, this
You
could
know?
get interesting as we go.
You know, we go on. It's gonna get interesting. Yeah.
I think the first three are perfect films for me. Like all 5-star bangers.
For sure.
And
For sure.
any day of the week, like my number one could change.
Yep.
It would be fun to do a play of this live, I guess. Because I guess
Guess that's the next cable channel 11 radio play.
not necessarily.
Night of the Living Dead would be fun.
I've
As
thought
as
about
long
that,
as I don't have
especially
to
being
play a
public
zombie.
domain.
We need
I'm
to
a
get
zombie.
on
Great
for
moments.
I'm a
this.
zombie. If we're doing it, I want to be a zombie. Please.
Oh, come on.
Arr, arr,
You might have to play
arr.
multiple roles.
Yeah. I can do it.
Yeah, you only get 6 spots on this piece of shit StreamYard now. So. You got to wear a dress in one scene. You got
You gotta keep changing.
I'll do what I got to do, man.
I'm just going through some interesting comments. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it is a classic still.
Yeah. I
That's a
don't
whole
think
nother
y'all are
subject.
just.
Jackie Brown is great. Yeah, Joseph Pilato.
Day has the best practical effects.
Yeah.
By far. By far.
Well, like Dan said, possibly some of the greatest of all time of this genre or this subgenre.
Sure.
This
And I
type of movie.
still will say this has two of the most iconic zombies. The tongue zombie, and opening credits, and boom.
That is one I think of as well. You're right.
I want Michael Douglas to play that zombie in the new one.
Good Lord.
He's not
That's
even a
what-
zombie. It's just Catherine Zeta-Jones. Has an effect.
My tongue doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't.
Too much pussy, bro.
Kory Ross, did you say much about Day yet, or you've been chiming
Yeah,
in?
so this was this one as of right now is my favorite.
But that's at just watching it. When you first watched it, it was your least favorite
Yeah.
of the three.
When I first watched it, it was my least favorite. I just at that point I was so burned out on watching them because
Dude,
you
I
had me
was the
watching
same way,
Return of the
dude.
Living Dead and then all of the Romero Dead movies, and I was so done with zombies by the time I got to this one, and I was and keep in mind too that in between watching these movies, I'm writing the script, so I'm living zombies 24/7, and it's just by that
For
point
like a
I was just
year
done.
almost.
Yeah, I was just done.
And really a span of 3 years if you're talking continuous rewrites and yeah.
Nothing
Anyway.
like getting a phone call at 9:00 at night saying, "Hey, I need you to completely rewrite the second half of the script." When you need it by tomorrow. Oh shit!
Was that the remake? Oh,
that is the 2008 remake, and I don't know if there's a lot to be said about this. I wanted to like this movie so much more than I did. I ended up like it really isn't a good movie, but it has the elements because it's also got Ving Rhames, got Mina Savari. Did I pronounce that right?
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Miner directed it. Nick Cannon is in this, and it just fell short. Really fell short. It's not memorable. There's not enough. Like Ving Rhames as Rhodes could have been so much more than it was in this movie. It's like they just totally threw away some things that could have been awesome for a remake.
And the
not enough
zombies
bunker.
Yeah,
it totally took the isolation element out of it for majority of the movie.
The zombies walk on the ceiling at one point.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I haven't seen it since it came out, and maybe I need to revisit it.
Maybe you don't either.
It's stupid. I won't say it's not entertaining. You have to kind of like with this one if you're going to include it in. I mean, again, it's nothing to do with Romero, but it's like if you approach it as a dumb sci-fi original, you might have fun with it. It's not a boring movie. It's just
there are worse zombie movies, yes, out there. There are definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty bad though when compared to the other films. for sure, this is the weakest so far.
Yeah, honestly, of all the things we're going to talk about tonight, if you're including these remakes, this is by far the weakest, and that's saying something. Yeah, it's saying something.
I doubt it.
Jake's got to go first on the last two.
Yeah, we did. Anybody else see the Day of the Dead 2008 remake? Steve Miner directed it. I mean, it had hopes.
I think that raised expectations for people too. They were hoping something more than what it is, but yeah, it feels like a gorier made for Sci-Fi Channel movie.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So are we moving along then from Day of the Dead?
Yeah. Well,
I didn't rewatch that one to be
Kory,
honest.
did you see this?
Final thoughts?
I'm not.
The remake?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. I guess we'll move along.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. All right, just hold through. I'm gonna have to put this on there and dab it, okay? Oh God. All right, I'm gonna wrap it. Hold it really still.
Well, that was the second or third take on that.
I don't remember which take. That is some Jess Graham practical makeup effects, though. If you look closely, it sizzles.
Very cool. Very cool. I think we can get something made.
I was so close to nutting.
Yeah, they did. One. I don't even think it aired the full season, but they did have that.
Yeah, I never watched that. And there was the Day of the Dead 2 video thing.
KGM?
Yeah, and they just got the rights to it as nothing. I don't count it. It's almost like the Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure for the Vacation series. I don't count it. I don't care how much they had the rights to do that. Doesn't count. The new Day of the Dead Bloodlines, I don't even think that's really associated with it either. As crappy as this is, the 2008 remake is probably the closest official remake.
The irony is, like, yeah, Day of the Dead Contagium, where they made up a fucking word.
Yeah, no thanks. But now that we've said that, we're on to Land of the Dead. This should have been called Dusk of the Dead. Forget Twilight of the Dead, even. Dusk of the Dead would have been day, night, dawn, and dusk. But Land of the Dead.
Am I the only one? Like, for me, this one gets shit on a little bit too much. It does suffer from not being nearly as good as the first three. It's not anywhere close. So don't
You
get
said
me
it right
wrong.
there. We talk about people if they're shitting on Dawn. This one gets too much hate. This is
it. Yeah, I don't think it's awful. I mean, watching it again, look, it's the first Romero film that does have CGI, so that's which we'll get into in the other two, but it also has a lot of cool moments. I mean, I think the social satire in this one's a little more on the nose, so it doesn't necessarily come off as profound in that way. I mean, Dennis Hopper's doing his best Donald Rumsfeld, I guess, and it's it is what it is. But just as an entertaining zombie movie, I think this one's fun. It has a lot of fun action set pieces. I like exploring the further evolution of the zombies because look, even animals learn. I mean, they have a capacity to learn, and I like the Big Daddy zombie and how he's starting to sort of catch on to things, because that's even scarier when you have a threat that is able to slowly evolve. And
that's the one thing Big Daddy was okay, but I really didn't get that excited about that part of it.
Yeah. And this
one's not the extra smart zombie again.
This is another one that had a lot of issues because if I recall, Romero submitted like his version up to that point. I mean, again, Land of the Dead was going to be what Day of the Dead was going for, but he submitted his script 2 days before 9/11. So there were some changes at that point to it. And again, at the end of the day, you kind of get what you get. I have fun. I mean, we've got Phil Fondacaro running around as a pimp. We've got Aja Argento looking good. This movie has its problems, but I don't know if part of the issue is just the expectations with the Romero name were just so massive that it was going to let people down no matter what. Some of the lines, like, we don't negotiate with terrorists and all of that, it is a bit on the nose. And that's, again,
too much. Yeah, it was too much on the nose as far as he goes.
Yeah. I mean, but if you separate yourself from that, like, again, the action, the zombies.
Agreed with you.
The characters aren't as memorable, perhaps, as they are in Dawn or Night, for sure. But, everybody does their job. I think Big Daddy's a cool character, and there's a lot of great Canadian character actors that pop up in this one. But as a whole, I'm not a hater for this. I'm really not. And it's funny because Humphrey Bogart came up before, but the original title was Dead Reckoning, which was a Bogart film. So that's
Which
Great
I'm glad they
Bogart
didn't
film.
go with. The studio, there's where studios and producers I'm glad they do step in, because Romero would have been wrong to call it something else than Of the Dead.
from a marketing standpoint, I
From
get
even as a fan standpoint, I would have been ticked off. I was irritated enough again that it really wasn't going in a proper flow of night, dawn, day. Twilight of the Dead would have been better, but you know, I agree with 99% of what you said about it, though, Dan. It is, when I first saw it, I was slightly underwhelmed. In fact, I wanted to go to it in theaters. I was going with a group of friends, and they talked me into going to War of the Worlds instead that night. So I had to see it later than I wanted to. But it was the expectations after having that trilogy that we all had. And we'd been waiting, fans have been waiting for this movie for so many years now. I mean, for me, it was a lot
20
less
years
since I had fallen in love with them. And it was still, I felt like I was waiting too long. But the more that you watch it, or the more I watched it, I appreciated it more. And it is a very solid entry in George Romero's Dead franchise.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it doesn't do anything. It doesn't ruin the other movies. I kind of feel it fits well enough. It's nobody's favorite Dead film, but again, 20 years in between, this was a lot of people's first Romero Dead film on the big screen, and I know I was like insanely fucking excited for this. It just
me too.
So even with all the warts and everything, I still think it's a fun zombie movie. Not as good as the first three, but yeah.
I wanted more Fiddler's Green.
Yeah, no, I sincerely wish that they kept the continuity going forward from this movie, even if they maybe had to focus on a different group, because I know Simon Baker was kind of a TV star by the point that we get to the other Dead movies, and I don't know that they would have had Aja Argento back for something lower budget, but you know, as it stands, I still have fun with this.
Yeah. It's 100 times better than anything that came after it.
We'll see, maybe somebody
loves
I think Jay is down for the count.
Wait, when did this
That's
happen?
his thoughts on this movie.
Out, brother.
You just have to pull him up and we'll dub him.
I remember watching this once when it first came out on DVD, and I have never watched it since. So correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this like the Lord of the Rings of the Living Dead movies? Like, aren't all they're doing is walking?
No.
No, there's a lot of things. That's what I meant by I wanted more like Fiddler's Green. If you've seen them, if you remember them, it would have been cool for their apartment building. Their complex was almost like an indoor living for the rich. I'd have liked to seen more there.
Like I said, I haven't seen this since it first came out on DVD. So,
I mean, the zombies are walking into the community. I mean, if that's what you mean, but I wouldn't say it's like Lord of the Rings, which is nothing.
No.
No, I just mean in the aspect of like all you see them doing is walking until they get there, and then I don't know. I wasn't overly impressed with it, and not enough to make me want to go back and rewatch it.
I mean, they don't spend like a ton of time in Fiddler's Green, like just showing how like opulent it is, but I think that's more of a time crunch sort of thing. I mean, you get the idea. They're living better there than they are on the outside, and I think they establish it well enough.
I do think that is a really bad name for the name of a community. It just sounds bad.
Yeah. But
I actually think
I'm sure most people think, fiddler, they're thinking like he plays a fiddle, but I'm not thinking that. No.
Mr.
I'll-
Epstein started the community.
I like Land. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't love it. For what it is. There's some cool stuff in it, but I just think I think it was his big Hollywood movie, right?
It was,
I think
and
that
yeah.
kind of hurt him.
It
well,
did.
I
because he
don't.
was-
I don't. I think it helped him. I really do. At this point in his filmmaking career, and we saw what happened afterwards when he got back independent control.
Well,
Yeah,
he couldn't handle doing it, though. You know what I mean? Like, there were stories about him having issues trying to make something in the Hollywood system. But yeah, we'll talk about the other two. But all things considered, any drama that was on set, any personal issues he had with the producers, I still think they made an entertaining movie at the end of the day.
They did, and you got a bit of Blades back or whatever. Tom Savini, a little cameo of his character from Dawn.
Yeah, that was cool.
You got Simon Pegg and
Nick
Edgar
Frost.
Wright. It was Edgar Wright.
Edgar
He was
Wright,
the director. As a
If you
cameo.
notice, two people that's going to star in two pieces of shit later.
Yeah, there are some
In this
other
movie.
actors that spill over.
But all in all, agreed. Dan, we agree very closely on the flavor of this movie and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like I would say this would be like if you want like nonstop action zombie movie out of this would be the one
Yeah.
compared to the other three.
Well, this one wouldn't have gotten made if it wasn't for the Dawn remake, I think. The year
I think
before.
that helped. I mean, that definitely helped move things along. I even think, Dennis Hopper's not as over the top as you would expect. Like, some of the dialogue, again, is on the nose, but he's more restrained than you would expect out of Dennis Hopper, who could go pretty wild at times.
And what I want to Greg Nicotero did all the special effects for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rewatching this today, notice the influence because they call them walkers in this. They call them walkers a couple times, but then they call them like stenches after that or something. But from some of the looks of the zombies and some of that stuff, but you can see like he carried almost everything he did on this over into The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. Well, he would have to. I mean, he basically learned from Savini and mastered it his own self and made it better in a way, more, but
you just see some of the like zombies he did in this, and you're like, oh, that looks like it's straight out of The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that.
I did enjoy Boyd Banks, great character actor as the butcher.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of cool, and yeah.
I know Jess didn't, but I like seeing because these are not, slowly but surely, and this is in the same timeline as it started. These are the same zombies that started from Night, right? And it's all carrying over
up to Land.
Land, yeah. There's a brand new continuity with the other two, even though they're considered part of Romero's Dead franchise. Diary and Survival are not connected to the others,
which takes it down some pegs automatically with just that alone for me.
I think a lot of people prefer that they're their own thing.
I don't know if you need to sit closer, Jake. You're going in and out again.
No, No, it's probably my AirPods. Once my phone charges enough, I'll plug my other ones back in.
Yeah, you're clear again now.
Okay. I was saying, like, you take that time frame and, like, yeah, everything evolves, right? So I think it's cool to see the zombies, but or Big Daddy. You know, they're kind of evolving.
And they do, and they kind of almost evolve in their makeup too. And each movie's like a decade apart from each other and is almost a standalone movie, but it does still flow in that universe up through land on the progression of the zombies in a lot of different ways. And the people in society too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kory from S'mores Indoors.
Fucking
I
What did I do? I'm all
he's
tore up.
snored or something.
He's
Poor Jay.
I hate this movie.
Oh wow!
I
Whoa,
cannot
out of
stand
left
anybody.
field. I was like,
I can't stand anybody in this movie. Simon Baker's okay, his character's okay, but I hate every other character in the movie. I don't mind. You're talking about Dennis Hopper. I don't mind him in it. That dude that walks around with Simon Baker that has half a face, I wanted him to die through the whole fucking thing. Couldn't stand the guy. When the zombies get to the water and what's his name, Big Daddy, just kind of flops into the fucking river. It was just, I just laughed my ass off. I hated the fucking movie, so I never want to see it again.
You're not getting the Scream Factory 4K, are you?
No.
Wow.
I mean, I can understand it though.
To me it looks like shit too. I don't know why. I was 10 minutes in and it was like it felt like a sci-fi movie that was a shitty one. I don't know what it was.
It looks to me like one of those fucking Grindhouse movies.
Yeah, I don't think it looks like a made-for-TV or sci-fi movie or anything. I'm not sure. I think the style's not as gritty as I expected from Romero. I don't know.
It's a pretty slick production. I mean, I think there's a lot of
bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool zombies in it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I prefer Day over this. It's the weakest to this point. I just can't say I was as disappointed as some people. I kind of knew like we weren't going to get something that was going to like define the 2000s, like, you know, Dawn did the 70s or Night did the 60s or even Day did the 80s for some people. But
I don't think that's fair because like times went on and the point in time we were like a movie like that's not going to do that.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be your expectations. I don't.
No, it shouldn't. It's a good zombie movie. Yeah,
I watched it and I was like 15 minutes in and I had to pause it to see how long I had left to fucking get through this fucking thing. And that's always a bad sign. Too. I know it was a long hour and a half. If I would have had it, I would have been holding up Jake's "Doesn't Work for Me, Brother" shirt the whole time.
Yes,
that's all I got to say, though. But it is my fourth favorite.
Well, there you go, mine too, so far.
Yeah. And
it is your fourth favorite after saying you hated it. Wow.
Yeah. That's why we got to go. All right.
Orc brings up a good point. Happy Memorial Day. And honestly, the military aspect of the last movie kind of fits that. Hello.
You're back.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, though. That's a distraction.
It kind of makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand fireworks. I mean, what the fuck is that? I like that aspect of the story.
I guess
Jay, what do you
good,
think?
but we're so far in. Jay Stingray.
It was so bad he has no words.
I think
I
this
think he
might
hated
be
it worse than
his
me. I don't know.
artsy way. I like that ghost. I really do. This is what Jay. I really did want to know what he thought of it, but this may be how he feels about it at this point.
He will update in the comments.
You must, Jay, because I was sincerely curious.
It's really makes you feel bad when you're having a conversation with him on a bench and this happens. It really makes you feel awkward.
Well,
On to the next one, Jess.
Yeah. Hold on.
No, this should get interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's going to. There is no remake to land. Got that though.
Thank God.
If it's okay, I will kick this one off because I feel like I might
Hold
have
on.
the only. Well, I'll pause. I'll get into it.
You can go first, but hold on. I'm smoking.
Lee smoking a cigarette?
I can hear him
Sure.
like the lighter.
I think we're just moving.
Nobody inhales that long on a cigarette.
Final thoughts. Performance art. No. All right. Hold on.
Hey, camera rolling.
Garage Day, 9B, take one.
Okay, and action.
That felt like a minute. Like that should have been on the hub, Jess. You were stuck. Nowhere.
Oh, it gets better. He fights that zombie with a dildo.
There you go. It definitely belongs on the hub then.
Let me guess. That was the next one you had queued up.
I played a zombie that was beaten to death by dildos by Russian lesbians in a movie. So
I do kind of remember that.
Yes.
And that was the garage clicker you were reaching for?
Yeah, to shut the garage door on the zombie or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, we are now at the 5th Romero film, Diary of the Dead. Now, no. I mean, I think I wanted... Oh, you're going. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Diary
so
of the Dead.
The one thing I will say for this, not the movie itself, but just I love the idea of the concept. New media was kind of the big term at the time. This is 2007, so even this is, 18 years old now, so it doesn't feel like it, but new media, the whole point of the movie trying to find the truth in a world with like so many outlets and voices coming at you at that time. On paper, it feels like this could have been the return of Romero to really having something strong to say. I was a little worried about the found footage concept because that doesn't always work for me. And going into this movie, I was like, man, this really feels like a scenario where you would just drop the fucking camera. Again, that's an issue with found footage in general. But I like the kernel of the idea for this movie. Having said that, then the movie happens. And we see the execution, which is not very good. It's a really kind of a weak cookie cutter story. You don't really care about anybody in this movie, which is one of the biggest issues. I mean, if you had asked me before, having just rewatched it again, I couldn't probably tell you anything about any of the characters. The best character in the movie is a deaf Amish guy named Samuel who shows up for about 2 minutes. And I would have liked to have followed Samuel blowing up zombies in his buggy, just throwing dynamite out of it. Like that would have been fun at least.
And wasn't
But
he in Dawn of the Dead's remake too? Like they've used a couple of these. The guy you mentioned for Land.
there's several different actors that, different parts. And while we do have spillover, because this is a new continuity now. For a while, everybody was like trying to kind of pitch, I guess technically this would come after Night if you want to ignore the time jumps and everything, but
yeah, it was a reboot to the initial Outbreak.
Basically, this is a new Diary and Survival go together,
which right off the bat, I hate that concept.
Yeah, well, in retrospect, I think it helps as far as if they did want to go back and actually do something after Land. It wouldn't be with George now, obviously, but I think it's a good thing that these things are just together. Other than a few like interesting set pieces and ideas in the movie, I think putting your family in a pool, your zombie family in a pool, that visually that was interesting. But the movie's a piece of shit. Like there's no doubt about it. Like this is shockingly poorly executed for a George Romero film.
Yep.
I like the basic idea of it though. Like I do think it's interesting watching it now where 18 years later traditional media is pretty much on life support, and it's kind of prophetic in that way, I guess, but it's a bad movie. There's just no other way around that. I didn't really care about anybody, and it doesn't work for me, brother.
I'm not you guys are going to yell at me, but not a huge fan of found footage anyway. Though I respect the cleverness of it, especially with Blair Witch and being one of the original. But beyond that, I think it can become a cop-out. I tried to like this movie because obviously I'm a George fan, even if it was going to be, not the greatest, but I couldn't. I own it to be, have a full collection, but I do not like this movie. I think it's my least favorite of George's, and that's even what's to come.
It seems to be for most people.
It has a couple moments, and yet Greg Nicotero does, I think, still do the effects, but none of that can save it. George can't. This whole thing can't be saved. This
is the start of a lot of CGI too,
and horrible CGI, horrible effects.
The next one's just so much worse. But
yeah, and it feels like a fan film, honestly. If this were a generic zombie movie, it might be okay, worth a watch.
No,
but it just wouldn't be remembered at all. Probably,
exactly.
If it wasn't a Romero film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys, because I have never seen this one, and I will not plan on watching it now.
Don't waste your fucking time. This movie is a ginormous piece of shit. The premise is stupid as fuck. The main character, none of these characters are likable. I want them all to get fucking eaten by zombies because they're all so stupid. The main character, was it Jason? Whatever the fuck his name is.
Jason Creed.
The guy filming the whole time is a fucking moron. Yeah, I'm gonna watch my fucking girlfriend get attacked by her brother who's a zombie. I ain't gonna do fucking shit. I'm just gonna film her and watch it. And then a little bit later, I'm just gonna film my friend getting fucking chased by a zombie. And I'm just gonna follow the zombie chasing her the whole time instead of putting the fucking camera down to, help her. And then he's also a ginormous piece of shit to his girlfriend the whole fucking movie. And then at the end of the movie, when he gets what's coming to him, gets fucking bit by a zombie finally, she's like, I'm gonna finish this movie because this is so fucking important, dude. And it's just fucking stupid, and it's awful, and there's no likable characters, and I can't believe like George Romero made a ginormous piece of shit like this.
Yeah.
Because even like the whole new media shit at that time, it don't fucking work. Found footage, it don't work. Nothing about this fucking works. Like your main character is fucking stupid, and he's a piece of shit. Like, the first thing he wants to do is edit his footage when they're in this fucking. When they find another group. He's like, "Oh, where's your internet? So I can edit this fucking footage and upload it." Like, no, this is fucking stupid. All these characters are stupid. Boobs, I guess. There's boobs in this, so.
Yeah, could be more for a movie that's bad.
Couldn't hurt.
It's fucking terrible. Like, not.
It's kind
stupid.
of
And like they get one gun, and the fucking gun's got like unlimited ammo.
Yeah, I mean that is an issue in general with found footage. I mean, you can try and explain it all you want, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think the camera's going to be dropped at a certain point. Like, especially once it's so bad at a certain point, it's like, where exactly are you planning to show this? I mean, I guess you better be quick about it, because it's like we're no 4K Scream Factory edition of this movie's gonna happen.
What's the fucking deal with, like, this is like, I'm like, he writes really good characters in, your first three. And then you get here and he's got this random British professor that's just hanging around with these fucking college kids because they were shooting this movie, who doesn't fit in this at all. And the last thing I'll say, shout out to Samuel, the death Amish guy. He's the best part. Like the part where he fucking throws the dynamite and then everything's blown up around him. He holds up a sign like, "Hi, my name's Samuel." That made me laugh, and that was fucking awesome. And
I liked no car Amish.
Yeah, no car. He was the best part. Like, I gave it 1 star on Letterboxd just for him. 1 star for the Amish guy.
Yes, Amish versus zombies is a great concept.
That's
just
what he probably
one
should
with like a corn cob. It's making shiv.
So Jake, you said that the found footage thing doesn't work for this.
No.
Would it have worked better if it was done like say like the characters that they have in this movie is only one part of the movie, and then after, like, you cut out a bunch of the bullshit, they die off, and then there's like a second video or whatever from a different group that, while it's a different group of people, it's still still explaining the progression of the story.
I don't think so.
And then maybe a third group later on or something.
I don't think so, because just the whole story is this dude can't put his fucking camera down for 5 minutes to help anybody, because he has to film every fucking thing to make this documentary about the outbreak that's happening. And
don't you think somebody would have just smashed? Like, if I'm in that scenario at a certain point with that guy, I'm grabbing that fucking thing and smashing it.
if I'm that girlfriend, yeah, I'm doing that the first fucking when they're in the hospital. Like, she sits around for his shit and dick to her and almost lets her get eaten. And then it's like at the end, what makes no sense is like, "Oh my god, I gotta finish his movie. Oh my god, he's so awesome."
And I gotta put music to it
so
it's scary.
Yeah, that's what, like, it just doesn't work. Like, I get what he's trying to say, but it doesn't fucking work. It just doesn't for this.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, but sitting here listening to that and thinking of today's society, it's an extreme version, or I'd like to think it
No,
is.
but
He predicted something 15 years later. How old is that movie?
I mean,
yes, yes
2007.
and no. Yeah,
That
but
people
yes
wouldn't.
and no to that point.
There would be
Because,
people that might not put down their camera phones
well,
these
okay,
days.
but that I get, yes, and you're right, but probably to a stranger. This is like his fucking girlfriend and his very close friends that he is not putting this camera down while they're getting
Yeah,
fucking
making
attacked
this
by
independent
zombies.
movie, the time, all in all, no, for me, who I am, I don't buy it either, Jake. I really don't.
I don't buy it.
I
And
don't.
and he's the whole reason he's making this documentary is like when this all going down, he's shooting his zombie film for his senior fucking project in college or whatever, and they just transitioned to, oh my god, this event's happening and I'm gonna capture everything because I'm fucking whoever makes good documentaries. I don't know.
Ken Burns.
Ken Burns.
There you go.
Zombie apocalypse. Ken Burns is what he was going for.
Ken Burns would have dropped the fucking camera too and got his ass out of there.
Yeah, he would have been smart enough to do
Fuck
that
this.
story. Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't remember that case.
This movie fucking sucks, and I gotta get my charger. So carry on.
Okay.
Oh, even to
you
a
know
lesser
what?
extent, but what Jess was even talking about, there's kids in high school that film their friends getting jumped and then post that shit on fucking Facebook and stuff. So,
Oh yeah, I mean 2007. You figure, I mean, Facebook is brand new, basically. I mean, to the mainstream, anyways. I think that was like the first big year. So he's kind of going off of MySpace era still at this
Yeah,
point.
there's no
You could-
TikTok. There's no
No, it hadn't gotten like
YouTube Shorts and
it hadn't gotten really
much
bad, but
Facebook video.
yeah, MySpace was never quite as like toxic as everything else has become. But that's not to say there wasn't bullshit on there. I remember.
No, there is, yeah.
But this is the type of movie. I mean, Romero's gone, but this is the type of movie that should be remade because I think again, the basic idea of what they were going for could be interesting. It's just, yeah, the execution's just really, really bad. But yeah. I still think it's an interesting movie to watch, even though it's a failure. It's an interesting window to what is essentially come true by now, because there are fucking like people now who one of you guys was saying, you're gonna film somebody just beating the shit out of your friend. Like, that's real. That's, there are people that will film something when they could easily help in a situation.
Probably because of piece of shit movies like this.
I was just. What are your thoughts, Kory?
Well, I was thinking about it, the whole found footage thing, because I think when found footage is done well, it's some of the best shit you can find out there. Because you talked about like Blair Witch. There's a movie I always talk about called Troll Hunter, which is an amazing found footage movie in my opinion.
Golden Cow Project.
I think when found footage is done well,
great movie, Jess. By the way,
sorry
it's done at a slower pace because that makes it more realistic that you might not throw the camera down and run. Like, shit happens at a slower pace. So I think that's where it hurts it because everything's going so fast. And they do another thing I hate in shitty found footage movies is a lot of times they'll describe everything that's happening through the camera. I'm like, we can see the shit. You don't have to tell me that, there's a fucking zombie doctor or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that played for bad writing and bad acting, because once they do that, then it's pushed. It's too much. It's what's that? Overacted almost.
Right.
You're pushing narrative and doesn't feel natural.
Yeah. And before we get off of this, because it's going to carry over into the next one, there's a scene where they get robbed by some military guys for for stuff that they have, and somehow that fucking carries over to the next one like we're supposed to give a fuck.
Well, that's the thing. Out of all the movies to actually carry any characters over, you finally do it here, George, and it's no, just don't. Just don't.
What's ironic, I mean, before we get into survival, is Romero was on record saying that he didn't really have anything left to say after Diary of the Dead. He's like, that was kind of, at least to that point, that was it. He didn't have any grand idea for the zombie genre, but he ended up making a Western because, you know, Diary did fairly well for a direct to video film. So there was enough demand for another one, despite pretty brutal reviews even back then.
Well, because again, though, we were getting a gritty, not studio controlled, another chance at Romero to bring back some of his essence, whatever, of the previous movies, and he completely went the other way, and he made Land look like a fucking masterpiece, really.
Yeah.
And he did it too quick, and not that he had, you know, a whole lot of time, but these movies were done 10, you know, at least a decade apart, if not more. So he didn't have time to let Land simmer.
Yeah, Ben does have like an interesting point there. I mean, yeah, like I can understand not doing something out of fear because you don't know in a stressful situation, some people just freeze. But if you're like okay to film it,
If you're filming it, you need to be arrested.
Yeah, it's kind of like
at that point you're an accomplice. So
yep, my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at least try and distract from it, something, you know. Sorry, Jake. You're breaking up there.
But a lot of that, like I said, like, yeah, modern, that makes sense. But if it's like your fucking family and friends, you're not going to keep recording. And that's the problem with this movie.
Yeah. I agree.
That good point. They were close, supposed to be close people, and you wouldn't. Yeah. I don't think I could stand there and just record any of you goofy bastards having, like, you know, getting torn apart without trying to intervene. But
yeah, it's like the dead are walking the earth, dude. Like, you're probably not going to win an Oscar. The world's going to be a little different.
That's not my priority. In fact, I probably would have stopped filming the fucking movie a long time ago.
So, is there an actual timeline from Night even up to this point?
No,
this is a whole new thing.
Yeah, it's new continuity. It's basically a reimagining of the scenario. So Diary is the first. It's connected to Survival. And it would have been connected, apparently, because his next movie was going to be Road of the Dead. And that one was going to have like a film noir feel to it, so from what I recall. So he did Survival, which is his kind of Western,
which we'll get to.
And again, at that point, he did say in an interview, he had no grand ideas. He did, I think, towards the end of his life, because there's some of the literature that continues some of that story. But I think what would have happened if he could have held out at some point, there would have been another film that was a follow-up from Land, while probably ignoring Land as far as the characters go. It would have just been,
well, like he continued from Night of the Living Dead, Dawn, Day, and then Land. That does have a bit of a flow of the time period. I think that's where it ends as far as the connection goes, Kory.
Yeah, that's it.
Time, you can consider them going through that many decades, or even a shorter period of time for all of them. However, it's up to your own imagination, but they do follow a sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, Diary, reboots it. That timeline, it goes back to the initial basically, like you said earlier, right after Night of the Living Dead, even though the time
Yeah.
period doesn't fit.
It's if that incident
It's stupid.
happened in 2007 versus 1968. So, but I'm grateful for that, because I will say again, if you wanted to pick up from Land, I think there's potential, and you don't have to worry about, well, how are we going to make Diary and Survival make sense? You don't have to, because those are their own things.
I just don't know if we need to do any more of that. George is gone, and anything else would be its own thing.
He has story concepts out there, though. So, like, that's the only thing. I wouldn't be completely against it with the right director. Again,
Nick
I'm not
Cotero would
suggesting.
be the one that would want to do that, I'm sure.
He thinks he's George Romero now.
Is Savini too old? Because he nailed the night remake.
I think it's just been too long. You wouldn't give a big project to him to direct. It just wouldn't happen. But look, we got 28 years later.
Don't need no dick shots in here.
Well, wait. Are we done with Diary? Should we go on to Survival soon?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So,
but we got 28 years later.
Settling and action.
You handled
Hope
that.
that wasn't used.
No, it was actually brand new from what's that? It's a famous
Pleasure Chest.
Yeah, I think it might be the Pleasure Chest down in Hollywood. Our prop lady, Jillian, as she got that for
And
us.
no pun
Brand new.
intended, but props to the Pleasure Chest and was it Dapper Cadaver? Isn't that where you guys got all your props from?
Dapper Cadaver had some great a lot of great props. The Pleasure Chest, that was an expensive piece for what it got used for.
Which was basically what you saw.
Give me the best dong you have. We're making a zombie movie.
So
is that what you're calling
it? Survival of the Dead.
There we go.
George A. Romero's. I'm just gonna say it because I probably, after going through the piece of shit Diary of the Dead I still gave it. It was George Romero. Had to give it a chance, and I thought it was better, and I guess I still do. I was so relieved that it was not a found footage movie and more of a regular movie, but it still doesn't feel like a Romero zombie flick. It's semi-entertaining, but again, it feels like an expensive fan film. The idea is kind of cool, but the title, Survival of the Day, he had so much better potential for titles than this one particular. And the movie, all in all, is not that great. It's not a George Romero. It just doesn't live up to.
I would say better than Diary.
Okay, so we're on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely. This one has its moments. The idea of a sort of zombie western, Hatfields and McCoys on a small island, I'm like, okay, not exactly what I would expect from George Romero, and there really isn't much of a message in Survival of the Dead. It's just a zombie movie. I enjoyed some of the actual action in this a little bit more than Diary.
Definitely.
I think if Survival didn't have the Romero name attached to it, it would probably just be forgotten. It might even have like a few weirdo fans out there that did appreciate it, but as it stands, there's some really odd reactions to things in this movie that I felt like maybe the point is lost. The father, when his daughter's dead, and he has a line where he's just like, it's like, I'm good. Like, kind of like this, the way he reacts to it is very strange. And awkward, I think. But he's kind of just, I think, having fun with this one, and it has it has its moments. Maybe a few too many characters, but some of the ones are likable at the very least, versus our previous film where like you don't really give a shit about anyone. It's a so-so movie that is not worthy of the legacy of some of the previous films, but I don't know. I don't despise this one. It just is what it is.
Yeah, you said it about right. It's kind of a generic, okay zombie movie, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah. On paper, the whole family feud thing on this small island off of Delaware, I believe. Like, okay.
It's an okay idea, but you said it right there. It does not sound like a George Romero zombie movie. It
No.
doesn't. And it doesn't feel it either. And so that kind of really honestly makes it a worse movie because of that, because it is a George Romero. Still expects so much more out of the guy. And it's sad that this ended the zombie legacy with him.
Well, it ended his legacy. I mean, it was his last film, so
he shouldn't have done Diary in this one, and he should have let land simmer a little more and at least not done a movie till 2010 and maybe made his opus, would you say?
I think there would have been
his Twilight of the Dead.
Yeah, I mean, he always wanted to make that Gone with the Wind with zombies kind of epic. And I don't know what would have happened. I mean, it's funny when you watch Survival of the Dead, the Blu-ray, there's previews for like Walking Dead being in production. Frank Darabont talking about, Walking Dead and, Zombie Mania really kicks off hard after this. And I am kind of surprised. I mean, he died in 2017 and he had health issues. But he really did an attempt, from what I recall, to really truly go for it until a couple years before he died, where you were hearing a lot about Road of the Dead and him trying to get that made. It's a shame because I think even on a budget, like a limited budget, he could have done so much better than Diary and Survival.
Yes.
And I regret that, we didn't get to see that. It's not the best movie to go out on, but yeah,
Whoa.
We lose.
Looks like we lost Jake.
We lost Jake. He hates it.
There he is.
And because of the picture, I almost said we lost you, Kory.
Yeah, I was confused. I was trying to figure out.
So wait, what happened?
Jake, you love this one.
Okay, let him get focused. Kory, what do you think? Either.
I didn't get all the way through this one. I just did not interest me at all. I will say that just the thought of a well done zombie themed Western sounds kind of cool. So I'd like to see that, but like maybe let's do a movie version of the Red Dead Redemption zombie type shit. But yeah, it's just kind of a sad final movie for him. So that's really all I got to say.
Yeah.
Well, Kory never finished it. I never started it. So.
Oh.
So I didn't require you to watch Diary or Survival back in the day?
No.
When we were doing, that wasn't on my list of what not to do in our movie.
Nope. Well, shit. When did Land come out?
2004.
When?
Yeah.
05.
Or excuse me, 05. The Dawn remake was 04.
So then when did these other two come out?
Was it like
07 and 09?
Yeah, something like that. Sounds about right.
Yeah. I Survival.
And Diary, they were like, Diary was a Dimension Extreme, which was like a Blockbuster type exclusive, almost, video store exclusive.
Yeah, Survival kind of has the magnet release with the
even more independent.
cover, you know.
Sadly, the slipcover is way better than the movie.
The slipcover is much better than the movie.
So I'm not missing out.
No,
You're not.
no.
You're
I
not.
think
This was
this
not.
I had to own, but I didn't pay. You know, I bought it like for. I don't know if I bought it like Blockbuster for $1. Or something
It was
like
a
that.
Dollar Tree staple till the very end of their physical media run. Like you'd always see, at least the Dollar Trees, you'd always see a copy of Survival of the Dead.
Well, this was still early on when it was kind of fresh
Mm.
when I got the DVD. But yeah, you said it's slightly better than the last one, but not a good Romero zombie movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I really don't think it's any worse than the last one. I think it's right up there. It's a piece of shit. The fucking blood feud Hatfield McCoy thing, it doesn't work for me, brother. Nobody's fucking likable. Don't give a fuck about any of these characters. The leads of the head of the families are so bad at acting. Sister thing was fucking stupid. You get to the end, it's like, oh my god, she can eat a horse, and maybe that can save us. Okay, how many fucking humans and how many horses are there in the world?
Those horses need to start fucking quick.
They're gonna have to make them. Okay. It's just fucking bad, and it's sad that this is what he went out on. It's not fucking good. Like, if this makes sense, I'll say that this makes sense because yes, it is a cheap indie straight to DVD movie. It feels like a cheap indie straight to DVD movie. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
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 I think it's just because George Romero's name's attached to it.
It would just be forgotten otherwise.
It's not good. It would. I don't even know if it would get fucking made if his name wasn't on it, honestly.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because
it might not
nothing
have.
serves a purpose. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's sad that that's what he went out on, and
It does have
Yeah.
the distinction of a only actor really to carry over between movies. Alan Van Sprang is Sarge, so that was kind of interesting. I wonder if Road got made. I don't know if there's anybody in this that he would have like carried over or not. Probably not.
nah, who cares? It's a piece of shit.
It all in all, it sadly is. For what?
For what? I mean, when you look at the original trilogy, even Land, like compared to this is fucking. It's not good. Not even close. Not enjoyable. Nothing about it is good. There's nothing redeeming from it. The CGI in it is all so bad.
Yeah.
Because everything's CGI in it. I don't know if there might be one practical effect towards the end.
The end, there's a
somebody.
little bit more. Yeah, like this one does have
and then the
sci-fi
fucking
level. Yeah.
And then the ending's so stupid.
When my crew or the producer, when they get down or worried about because of the budget we had for our zombie flick, I'd show them a couple scenes from this movie and their CGI effects to give them confidence that we could do better.
I will say if you're doing something like really low budget, like not like low budget like this where there's still like the time crunch and everything, but super low budget, it's better to have a practical effect that doesn't look fantastic than cheap digital effects. So you might be looking at it thinking like, man, that just looks like a fake prop head, or that blood looks a little off. Much better. I think people will still react to a goofy kill with practical effects. There's the one movie where I get decapitated by Santa, and it looks ridiculous, but it gets a reaction because it's goofy. You can tell it's a prop head and everything, but it's funny.
Well, how many even on the blood color? How many? Yeah, how many movies that even on the blood color of some cult films that it like doesn't look, they look like crayon or melted crayon, or
it's fine,
or really just off color.
Yeah, it can still be fun. I mean, I think
it's still fun.
Yeah, certainly more than just
It looks
that
better.
like little spray CG blood.
I miss you.
Sad.
Well,
Somebody should have told him to quit making movies.
Yeah, or at least told him to back off and let's maybe get a co-writer to write to enhance his ideas.
A lot gets lost from film to screen, though, too. Like, there have been some great writers that just had god-awful movies that came out, and it's like, you got to think how much that changed from the original script to what you're seeing on screen.
Yeah.
So, it's hard sometimes to judge that.
Jilla pudding.
So,
pudding. He's here for Jay. What'd you do to Jay's drink?
Hey, I just gave him a little drink.
Oh no, put that pudding pop away.
I'd like to tell you about taking this drink.
Oh shit.
Oh,
that was a nice nap, but my ass is killing me.
Oh God.
They're gonna be hurting in the morning.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Will you leave the poor guy alone?
Jay wakes up.
That's
to,
bad.
like,
That's bad. This is the greatest moment on the stream. That's not good.
He wakes up and like walks into his living room, and his dogs are eating Bill Cosby.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit. I do have one question, since I didn't watch these last two, and I have no intentions on ever doing that. Since the original Night of the Living Dead is public domain, why hasn't anybody remade that and
They have
just made their own franchise off of that one movie?
Well, they have.
And when I say that, I mean a coherent franchise that gives you the, a time frame of, beginning to end, and it's not. And I don't mean by like copying Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead, but just Night of the Living Dead Part 1, Night of the Living Dead Part 2.
Well, they did Night of the Living Dead 3D and the sequel. I mean, they have done that. There's like the awful British one that they did. If anything, I think I'm surprised there's not more. Because even the bad reputation that some of those films have, it's still something you can just do. You're able to just make it, and as bad as like most of the Amityville movies are, people just keep fucking doing it. So I am surprised we don't have at least 50 or 60 of these Night of the Living Dead remakes at this point, but they have done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also it was so easy, even if it wasn't copyrighted, to do of the Dead movies.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of those do you have?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But in closing, even with the failures, that Romero had at the end, that's still a hell of a legacy, man. Like, he created a subgenre of movies that is going strong today. Walking Dead, in some ways, I mean, the level of popularity of that show, I mean, it's like a Star Wars, or as close as you're going to get to a Star Wars.
It's popular and I
level.
liked it, but I think Romero resented that show.
He did, and I mean, I can understand. Russo, I think, had a lot of bitter feelings towards Romero, ironically, because he wrote it, but Romero is your average normie is not going to know who John Russo is, and that sucks because he does deserve more recognition. But the reality is, it's like somebody's probably going to come along and just rip it off and be more successful than you were, and that happened. But you wouldn't have Walking Dead without George Romero. You wouldn't have many great movies that we all know and love if it weren't for George Romero.
I'll
You
shout
wouldn't
out.
have Thriller.
That's
Probably.
exactly what I was going to say. This
Mhm.
little picture on my avatar is from Thriller, and that's to me that's the greatest.
Oh yeah.
Music video of all time. So
Yeah, just he's a pop culture icon. Even if you're not a horror fan, you probably at least have heard of Romero, and yeah.
Exactly. Any other closing thoughts before we go around to?
I wish I slept as soundly as Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hope he's all
Well,
right.
I will say this, just going off of what Kory just said. While Thriller is a great music video, it is not better than November Rain. So,
Oh, Kory, it is. I like November Rain, but it is better.
No,
it is much better.
Is that some Striper bullshit?
That's some Guns N' Roses bullshit.
Okay.
They uprooted a church from fucking the inner city of LA and fucking moved it out to the desert just so Slash could play a guitar solo in front of it. Come on now.
Okay. I think I remember.
They did that here so some hillbillies could live in it down the street. This motherfucker dressed up like a zombie and was dancing through South Central. Tell me what's a bigger accomplishment.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
Well, Slash didn't fuck any wee ones, so there you go.
You don't know what they did backstage.
I'm gonna say Slash is probably gonna win the morality contest with Michael Jackson. No. I don't know, maybe not. What do you
Jess,
have to
will you
say, Jay?
leave the poor guy alone? He's sleeping.
Kory, you're the one hitting the buttons.
No, I'm not. My hand's right here.
What do you got, Kory, over at S'mores and Doors? You've had some things.
Are we gonna rank them?
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll come back to that. Rankin, you want to start us, Jake? Then, since you remind him.
From the best.
Yeah,
we're just ranking Romero's main series, right?
Yeah, the ones we've talked
No
about.
remakes.
No remakes.
Okay. 6 films.
Well, I feel like a tie in last because I never want to watch either fucking one of these pieces of shits again. So let's say Survival.
Ooh, okay.
I heard Survival. And then
you gotta be a little louder.
Okay. Survival. Diary. And
Night on Day, you said.
Okay. So, Days is number 1.
Kory, what about you?
Dawn, not bad.
I think I'll put last Diary just because I think when found footage is shitty, it's really bad. So I'll just go with that. Then Survival, then Land, Day, Night, Dawn.
Dad?
From worst to best, worst I gotta go Diary of the Dead. Then Survival of the Dead. Then Land of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and the best, Night of the Living Dead.
All right. Jess, you want to go or you want me to?
Go ahead. No matter.
Okay. Well, we'll go whichever one was the sixth one. That's that's 6. Whichever one was the
Survival.
fifth one, that's 5.
Diary.
Then Land. Then Dawn. Then Night of the Living Dead. Then Day of the Dead.
All right. And mine was the same as Kory, S'mores, and Doors. I got Survival, Diary is my least favorite. Then Survival. And then there's Land. Did you say Day, Night, Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made some good choices, my friend. I won't give you a drink tonight.
Hey. This is what happens, kids. when Cosby comes to the cars.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay, if you were awake, you'd appreciate that. Cars. All right. Now, well, we know Jay's was number 1 was Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
He did say that. So we got the main 3 rankings. I'm curious if he'll put the rest of these, if he liked any of them from Land.
No, Dice was number 1.
No, he said Night. I think Dave was his number 2.
His number 2.
Yeah.
All right.
But you never know.
Because he's sleeping.
Yeah. So this has been a Rumble. What do you got coming up? Kory, S'mores, on the S'mores and Doors.
Well, I thank you guys for having me on tonight, and I apologize for my camera issues. I have to figure out what's going on with that. But we do the Midnight Movie Club on my channel, where we kind of watch a not so great movie, probably better than Survival of the Dead, though. We watch some of those, have a little fun doing a commentary on them, live commentary, and through that we've discovered Jim Haggerty and his filmography and had tons of fun with that. So I recently just ordered a DVD of a movie he did called Witchmaster General, which hopefully will arrive soon. And then, so the next time we get together to do that movie on the Midnight Movie Club, we'll be joined by Jim Haggerty himself.
Look, yeah.
What?
Yes.
You got the guy himself.
Got the guy himself.
And the puppet, I hope.
The puppet. I hope so. I'm at least asking him where he got that fucking puppet so I can buy one.
Fuck yeah, man. I'd like to buy the puppet from him.
He might.
It'll be in the back of every podcast. It'll live forever.
Yes. So hopefully that'll be sometime in the near future.
Sweet.
All right.
That's gonna be. I want to be. We're gonna find a way to.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find
more
a
people.
better solution for the StreamYard issue we're all having for that.
Oh, by the way,
we can
yeah.
do your
Fuck you,
panel.
StreamYard.
Exactly.
All right. Jake, anything?
Jake?
Yeah. We'll have a video coming, hopefully this week, about the children's 90s gateway horror shows.
All right.
Oh,
Been
sweet.
working on that,
Yeah.
and well, and then me and Jay's been talking about doing a retrospective. Well, that guy right there.
He just
Of
watched
course.
Revelations.
And then
I love him.
me, Jess Graham, and Steak Sauce have some commentaries we gotta get to.
Fuck yeah.
Yes. Yes, we do. Some finish off Freddy's adventures, if you don't mind me saying.
Yep.
And I mean, I still have a dream that you'll do like a horror of the 70s. And even if you don't have a top 5, I still feel like we should go through the 70s. That could be fun. At least pick.
We'll do it, but 70s are my cutoff. I'm not doing 60s.
Okay. Get the band back together.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So that's over on Slaughterport. Again, the links are below. I think they're already in the description. Everybody showed up tonight, so we're good to go there. Check out Jay the Stingray over on Jay the Stingray.
What you got coming up, Jay?
He's got
Hello.
some earnest commentaries coming up.
He does have some. Yes. There's Ernest Rides Again. There's Ernest in the Army hasn't done Slam Dunk Ernest and Ernest Goes to School. So
I did want to mention. I mean, this isn't for YouTube or anything, but I've got this new Saturday matinee thing I'm doing at my job at the library where I show a movie one Saturday a month, and my December movie is going to be Ernest Saves Christmas, so that's going to be
awesome.
Oh, sweet.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I'll try to stay awake for it. But.
Just tell the kids it's John Cena.
Yeah.
John Cena's adventure with his loyal companion Rimjob.
Rim shot.
Oh, jeez.
Damn it.
Oh, God.
Well, on Flesh Wound Features.
There's Daniel on Flesh Wound Features.
Yeah, Flesh Wound Features will be live Wednesday. With we're going to review the new Fear Street movie. We're going to review, the name's escaping me at the moment, but the new Shudder original, The Surrender. We're going to have that. Also, this new slasher movie called Mauler, which is about a giant religious fanatic that murders people with a sledgehammer. So that could be promising. So Flesh Wound Features will also have a Squared Circle Society talking about the saddest episode of Dark Side of the Ring yet, the Daphne episode. So that'll be coming
They're
up.
still doing those?
They are.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Yep, we'll have the Muhammad Hassan episode too, which should be interesting.
I thought you were about to say you were going to have him on.
No. Well, it's always been funny because he's Italian. His name's Mark Copani. He's not Arab.
But that somehow makes it more racist.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're tan enough. Vince,
y'all look alike, pal. Just put this turban on.
But please go check out S'mores Indoors, Slaughterport, and Flesh Wound Features on YouTube, and Jay the Stingray.
Oh,
And,
one last
links
thing.
are down below. Yeah.
I will say, I want to thank everybody. Probably more so the Art Bell crowd, but I think I'm about to hit 6,000 subscribers. So
awesome!
I noticed that recently. So congratulations, man, and thank you for coming. It was great to have all of you on. It
was good to be here.
I don't think we've had.
Thank God for no work tomorrow. That helped.
That helped, didn't? Yeah,
I gotta work in the morning too. So.
Well, thanks for coming on a work night, Jake. And Ghost, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Orc, thank you so much.
Good seeing you guys.
JG in the chat. Ben Grimm.
Hey, Jess.
Brian Trash.
Drop your
Cliff
rankings.
Booth. We're not done yet. I'm not done there. I'm just thanking everybody because just wonderful, wonderful bunch of folks.
Yep.
All in the chats. If I missed you, forgive me.
Blu-rays was in there earlier too.
Blu-rays was in there. Jonathan, bombastic.
Yeah, Jonathan
bombastic
with
reviews.
a shitty take, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Cliff Booth, Ben Grimm.
Yeah, just thank you all. Anybody who's watching doesn't even comment, that's okay too. Thanks for watching. And what do we got coming up here on Cable Channel 11, Kory? Is that what you're
Within the next week, we will be getting the season 2 finale of Kory's Dead Time Gories. So I will give you a little hint. It will be a Bloodstained Bears story. So for those of you who like the original one, I hope you enjoy this one too. And starting next month, Jess and I get to start celebrating 5 years of Cable Channel 11.
Congrats.
We'll be going into our 5th year. So thank you. Couldn't have done it without all you.
I will say, because we're we're right in the 5-year thing for Smores Indoors too, and I just am thankful. Not thankful we had to go through a pandemic, but I mean it was worth it to create this little community we got and everybody we've connected with, and that was an awesome thing to come out of that. So
yes,
and if it doesn't feel like it's been 5 years,
It does not.
No, it doesn't. They're very, very true. Orc did give his quick. Orc is one that actually put a diary above land, not just survival, but land too.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an interesting ranking, Orc.
No, as wrong as it is, that's okay. Still love you, Orc.
Different takes, always nice.
He loves diary because of the found footage. Aye.
But he would put Night of the Giving Head above them all.
You know what, Dan? We need to do a porn tournament, but just have the tournament be based on the names of porn parodies.
Oh, you could do that. You could do that. We're doing another porn tournament.
Yeah, probably.
When's the last time you did one, Kory?
It's been a while.
It's
probably been over 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say at least a year and change, at least.
Because I'm on the Swaggy G on one, and Christian, that asshole's already said he wants to be on another one, so I'm gonna hold him to that shit.
Fuck yeah. The return. We need to get who else really has never done one, I'm thinking. Well, Fox Pixar would be nice. I don't know if we're gonna
I'm gonna try
send him.
I'm gonna try to make Jim Haggerty a regular, so you know you got Jim Haggerty. What else is he doing? Really?
Those are nice titties, but there's no puppets in it.
Best puppet-based porn.
I've got one if you want me to grab it. Because that is a thing. Let My Puppets Come. It's a classic.
Yeah, you sent me a copy of that too.
Oh, okay, I did. Okay, good. Well, then you can see it.
No, we'll have to do that for sure. And I did pass 6,000, so thank you to all that subscribe.
Congrats.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jess, you got anything else?
No, I think we'll see you next time.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Okay, settle everyone. Get comfortable, actors. And action. Cut.
That's one hell of a nut.
That was another behind the scenes camera take. So anyway, thanks everybody. We'll see you
Say
next
good
time.
night, everybody.
See you.